Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Food, Wine, and Whiskey in Your Own Backyard. I'm your host, Rob, and today we have three of my friends joining us. We're going to do a little bourbon show today. We've got Glenn, we've got Edmund, and we've got Brian back, Dr. Frankenbourbon. How you guys doing?
Doing great, thanks. Thanks for having us.
And
Fantastic.
Brian, how do we kick off the show? Oh, there you go. About the bourbon today. Specifically, Elijah Craig, guys, is what we're doing. And I guess if we're going to nail it down a little further, Elijah Craig Barrel Proof.
There we go.
All right. And we're jumping right in. We're not even wasting any time. So glasses are being filled as we speak.
Which batch are we starting with?
Brian,
B517.
So what we're doing today is doing all the barrel proofs. We don't have an A117, but we have the B517, the B919, and all the way up to the most current one, which was the C919 from this last year. And we're just going to have a little fun and go through and kind of taste them all and give our thoughts, and hopefully don't end up too juiced after we have all these.
I was just going to say, this is quite a big pour that Brian
Sorry,
gave me.
sorry.
Hey, Edmund, that's your fault.
There you go.
You got the big glass.
Because I got the big glass.
You got the big glass. The other three of us are doing the wee Glen, so we don't get too much, but Edmund's a man. He takes a big pour.
Ooh, let's see.
So just to start off, this is the B517. It's 124.2 proof, 62.1% alcohol.
So, Glenn, you were educating me a little bit before we started the show when you got over, and I'm not as knowledgeable as you three on bourbons, but I'm into it now and trying to learn more. But I didn't realize that, I know it's a small batch, but barrel proof made me think that it all went, all these batches went into one barrel and it came out that way, but that's not necessarily how they do it.
Right. Yeah, from my understanding, is that they pick their barrels that have been matured, then they vat them, so they put them in basically a giant stainless tank and blend them together and wait so they marry and mellow out, and then they get the proof from that, and then so they're all barrel proof going into this vat, so that's why they can still say barrel proof.
Okay.
Even though every barrel is going to be a little different based on evaporation, where it was in the warehouse, so on and so forth. But that's how they can get away with that moniker of barrel proof.
So the barrel proof doesn't mean that it comes from one barrel. It just means it hasn't been diluted to a certain proof. It's whatever that proof is that comes out of that stainless steel tank. That's what they put on the label, right?
Correct.
Okay.
That's what threw me off, because I was thinking barrel proof, it came from one barrel. Like
it makes sense. I mean, if you look at Kentucky Rare Breed as well, every year they bring out, the 116 point whatever. So they blend it until they get to that ratio. And it's undiluted. That's why they can call it cast strength or barrel proof, but not necessarily single barrel.
Yeah, it's the one of the other things that Glenn brought up, which is important for you novices at home making your own, Franken whiskey, Franken bourbons, is when they pull it out, they don't re-oak it. They put it into a stainless steel vat. And that's one thing when a lot of people, in fact, we just had a conversation yesterday at BBK, our favorite Indian place in Katy, was the owner wanted to put a bourbon into the barrel that he had bought, the little mini barrel, and was going to put it in for like a month and try it. And he was actually saying he got a bottle of Pappy and he was going to put it in there.
Oh no!
And I was like, absolutely not. Do not do that.
Thank God you guys were there.
We're like, first of all, you got to treat it. So you got to put the water in it, let the water soak in and get it out. You got to listen to the instructions on it. Then you can either put in some very cheap stuff, maybe like Weller Green Label Special Reserve, or put in a port or a rum and let it seep in, and so you get kind of that rum finish or barrel or port finish. But by God, don't go straight to wood with it, and don't leave it in more than, in my opinion, probably more than a week.
And never do a Pappy.
And never
no,
do. Yeah,
I mean, it's already oaked as it is, especially if it's 15 or 23 years.
Yeah.
I mean, I can speak from experience. I also follow that. I took, I bought a small 3-liter barrel, and I made some Poor Man's Pappy, 60-40, 107, and 112, and I let it sit in there for a month, and it was so ruined I actually had to throw it away. It was just so much charredness and oakiness.
Yeah.
It completely ruined it. So, please follow Brian's suggestion and recommendation. Don't put it straight into the barrel and leave it there for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, just enough to finish
Have you
it.
ever played with a barrel like that?
I have never played with a barrel, but I've tasted atrocities put into a barrel.
Have you ever tasted one where somebody did it right, like you're describing?
I have not.
Okay.
I have not. But
Curious to see how
yeah.
that if it.
I'm going to do it myself. At some point, I'm going to go buy the barrel, finish it out, and I'm probably going to do like a port finish, and then put like Weller Green Label in just to play with it.
Something not too
Something
expensive,
cheap and easy to get, and then maybe for the next time I'll put in something like Eagle Rare. Again, something that I have that's accessible, and that maybe making it a little bit more flavorful might bump it up a bit. You know, because Green Label is still a good, easy bourbon, but it's just it doesn't have a lot of character and a lot of bold flavors to it. And so maybe a week in a barrel, especially with something that's rum or port finished, might actually be kind of cool.
Yeah, that's probably the key too, is to get you a little whiskey thief, and you got to taste that almost on a every. I don't know how
Once
often
a week,
it would
I
be,
would
but
say
at least
once
once
a
a
week.
week.
Yeah,
And at some point,
absolutely.
you might want to start doing it once every couple of days when you get to that kind of that finish line.
We need Rob or Edmund or somebody to invent a Coravin for the barrels.
Yeah, no kidding. That'd be good, wouldn't it?
So I still have that 3 liter, and it's come to a point now where it's hardly extracts any oakiness. So I use it now as a seasoning. So I'll take 2 or 3 bottles of, Buffalo Trace or whatever, and put it in there and mix it and try and play around with that. I'll take some older Buffalo Trace picks and some younger ones. So now it's just mellowing. It's not extracting any of the tannins and woodness and oakiness. It's now pretty much a seasoned barrel. So it's just I would say, a blending vessel, so to speak.
That's a fantastic way would be a Buffalo Trace. That's another one.
Yeah.
But when I do mine, I do straight into a glass bottle, put it away in the closet for a month.
Yeah, you have to think about the surface area of these small barrels. I used barrels when I was homebrewing. I got a couple Balcones barrels, and I would put a stout in. But a week, even with a 8-gallon barrel, would you could notice it. And then after, if I was to go 2 weeks, it was ruined. And so you have to be tasting every day almost.
Yeah, I would think so.
And with something in the liter size, it's just an exorbitant amount of surface area that your whiskey's coming into contact with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's just off the subject a little bit. But,
Sorry.
No. But I thought that was interesting. I think that's good advice. 'Cause I've it's been something that's come up. I've seen a lot of people talking about these barrels for whatever reason and doing stuff with them. So I think
It literally just came up
great
at lunch
advice.
yesterday, so it was on the tip of my tongue.
All right, so we have the B517. We're going to run through. These are all the Elijah Craig barrel proofs, and we're going to run through and just do a little comparison, have a little fun, see what we think about these.
So this one won the Whiskey of the Year, the B517 back then. So this is a particular special batch out there, and it brought a lot of attention to the Elijah Craig barrel proof series or range.
And in this particular one, you guys are more educated on it than me, but Elijah Craig you can get all day long, and to me, I like it. It's a nice everyday drinker. It's well priced, 94 proof, I think is what it usually is. But barrel proof comes out 3 times a year, like we're talking about. And when it comes out, it's still kind of a small production. I mean, it's hard to find. It's not allocated necessarily. It's just they don't make a lot of it, right?
It's usually the one, almost every time I've gotten it, it's been one of those that's in the back of the store, but they give it without question, but you just have to kind of
Because it's a limited release,
Right.
they just kind
It's
of
not
hold
on
on
the
to
shelf usually,
Okay.
Or it ends up on the shelf, and it's by accident. The store people wasn't supposed to put it out on the shelf. So when I see it, I'll just grab it, and the next thing you know, the label or the tag is gone that it wasn't supposed to be on.
I
the
think
shelf.
that happened in our, we passed along on our little groups and stuff, or threads, was that that happened with the C version this year, I think.
The
where
919,
It got put out
yes.
at specs just randomly, and it was a whoops event, and they sold out like quick, super quick.
So some of you all may be listening to this and going, okay, what the hell are they talking about? They're talking about Elijah Craig, and it's barrel proof, but A119, A117, B519, 918. What does this mean? So who wants to tackle that one?
Yeah, so they have 3 releases every year. They have a early, well, for us it's sort of spring, but in beginning of the year around January. Then they'll have one in May, and then they have one in September. And
So the A is the batch. They just kind of give it a letter. The 1 is the month that it comes out, and the last 2 digits reference the year.
right? Otherwise, they would have 4 numbers.
Right. So
which
this year it'll
would
be
a little confusing.
A112 or A120,
Right.
Yeah, A120, A520.
Thank you.
A520. That's right.
Yeah. So we're into January. I mean, we're getting towards the end of January.
Yeah.
I've not heard or seen it yet.
Nor have I. Have you, Glenn?
No, we usually get it about 2 months after
Yeah.
it releases.
Okay, so
Yeah.
here in
It just has
Texas,
to work its way through the distributor.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I picked up at a little, hole in the wall place on the way to Rosemary Beach, Florida for vacation, stop in Mississippi every year, and they had just gotten in their B batch, this B519, and it was early July. So
Oh,
that's
really?
about right. Glenn's about right. Probably about 2 month delay.
okay. So that's what those numbers mean. It's just the A, B, and C batch, which is first, second, and third in the year that they're released, and then the numbers just represent first digit month. The last two is the year that it came out, which is pretty cool. I like the way they came out.
I like it too.
And Booker's does something similar with
Booker's
their-
is pretty cool the way they
Yeah.
do it too. Yeah.
except they give a funny name for each recipe.
Well, that's probably why the Shiny Barrel, which is Booker's 2019-02, whatever, was my favorite story. Because Shiny Barrel, I know we're getting off topic, but the Shiny Barrel was the ones where the barrels had the dust rubbed off the front by the big pot belly guys in the warehouse.
Oh, nice.
And Booker No could identify what he thought was probably the best ones just by identifying the ones that had the dust rubbed off the front, where they had bellied up and siphoned off a little sample. And so that's the Shiny Barrel name. So maybe I'm giving Shiny Barrel more credit than maybe Country Ham or Beaten Biscuits from this year, but I just love the story so much. I think I probably fell for it.
But yeah, all the stories from
Oh, yeah.
Booker No, that just all the history in with that
Yeah.
is really interesting.
So maybe something that's also interesting for the listeners that this all these bottles that's on the table, all the from A117 all the way to where it's now C919, they are the new shape and they all have these numbers. The ones prior to those, they didn't have a designation. The bottles are different. Those are little fat, shorter bottles. They all were barrel proof as well, but they didn't have any designated number. So, the last 3 years, they launched this one. And it's, for those that know they like barrel proof, the older ones are very hard to find, very expensive on the secondary market. These are much more easier to find. And people say that the older ones are much better than that. I mean, it's...
Okay, that brings up a good question, Edmund. How long? See, I'm thinking they started doing this in 17, but that's not the case. They were doing it
No,
prior to that.
they've done Eli Craig barrel proofs, for many, many years. So
They just didn't label them.
correct. Yes, and the shape as well. The shape change of the bottle from the fatter ones to these,
Okay.
longer, slimmer, wider bottles.
Yeah.
So,
And did they always have 3 back then, barrel proofs?
I don't think
don't
so.
know.
It
That's
didn't.
a good
Wasn't a
question.
release like that. I mean, I think the releases wasn't
Not till 17?
like these.
Yeah.
Three times a year. I don't know if it was twice a year, 3 or 4 times a
It
year.
was
I'm
just
not
whenever
sure.
you saw
So
them,
whenever
grab
you
one.
saw them,
And you tell the difference just based on proof.
based on the proof. So I think it might just be once a year, if I'm
Might
not
have been
mistaken.
once or twice,
so
yeah.
Once or twice. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, well, I think they got smart with their marketing to be able
correct.
to...
Yeah,
Well, just
to
like the Bookers.
designate.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Just like
create a
Booker's.
little bit more buzz about looking for their
Do you
stuff.
guys remember if it was age stated before? Because it does keep the 12-year age statement.
This one does, but now they dropped it off the standard, Elijah.
Right.
Correct.
It
yeah.
used to say 12 years.
But the older barrel proofs, I don't remember.
Oh, no, yeah, I'm not sure.
I think they were also age stated in the back. In the back there it was 12 years old. But these are the, like you say, the small batch ones, they don't have the age stated. If you can still find the older age stated, those are great ones. They first had it in the front, the big red letters, 12 years. They moved it to the back and they dropped it all together on the small batch. But these barrel proof ones are still
They
age
still have
stated.
the age statement on there?
They do. It's
on
on
the
the
back?
side,
On the
yeah.
side.
On the side, okay.
Yeah, it's on the side.
Oh, look at that. Okay. I
And
honestly
hopefully-
never noticed that.
And hopefully it stays like that. I mean, that's,
Yeah.
it's pretty neat that you never know with marketing, they might just drop the 12 year and just go non-age stated.
All right, so what do you got on the nose on this one? Mine's pretty distinct.
It's pretty spicy.
Yeah.
on
It's
this one.
spicy.
Like,
I had kind of a spicy vanilla on the first couple of whiffs, and now it's just all I can smell is cherry, which I prefer. I'm a cherry bomb guy versus an oak bomb guy, and I really like the nose on this thing.
I get a bit of a nuttiness as well, with the smokiness or the oakiness. I get a bit of nuttiness.
Like I said, with a light sniff, I'm getting the vanilla. With a bigger, heavier, I'm getting that dark cherry.
So with a small batch, me learning previously, it's nothing special. It's just a bunch of whatever going in the bottle. So is there any way to know, mash bills and things like that? This is spicy to me. I'm thinking maybe there's more rye in here than I might think.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the mash bill look like for these Eli Craig ones. I'm not sure if it's out there really.
Yeah.
I mean,
A
I
lot
think
of them
what
have,
makes this special is that I think whoever puts this program together picks some good barrels.
Yeah.
Because you get the barrels that go into the barrel proof, and then you obviously get the ones that goes into the small batch, which is the 94 proof that's out there. So, I mean, that's kind of my take on the difference between the barrel proof, not just the proof per se, but also the way they put together the program. So,
Right.
So obviously the regular small batch being 94, it's toned down when it comes out of the barrel.
Right.
These,
they cut it back with
These are
water until they
cut-
get
yeah.
to 94 proof,
Yep.
and then they bottle it.
and I know we'll go through and we'll talk about all the different proofs on the ones that we're doing today. But what do you see with these typically? Because are they usually in the 120s, and do they get as
Above,
high
yes.
as? Or
This-
they all hover around the same?
Correct. So this one, a 124, is actually one of the lower,
Lower, yeah.
proofs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the C919 that was just brought out at the end
Just
of
shy
last
of
year.
137.
Yeah, those are pretty high
Is that
proof.
137?
Yes,
Yeah,
correct.
the most recent one, yeah.
Have you all had that one yet?
I have.
I have not.
Yeah.
So drink that.
Yeah, it's
Drink that?
no, it doesn't drink it that. It doesn't drink that
It's-
high.
It's pretty hard, yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
I don't think it drinks 137 though.
No, it doesn't. But I mean,
You
can
can tell
taste
it's
the
barrel
difference.
proof.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can taste the difference.
Yeah.
Now the older ones, like I refer to these, the number designated ones. The older ones go up to the 40s, the 100 to 40s. Those were considered hazmat. I mean, some of those were 146 proof, which, if you can imagine.
That's like
drinking
old
out of-
George T. Stagg
Correct.
stuff.
If you
Yeah.
drink, one of those, you can only drink 1 or 2 glasses a night,
Right.
and otherwise you're
Yeah.
going to be on the floor.
Yeah,
So-
laid out. Holy cow.
So I don't think the Elijah Craig is a high rye. I think it's a lower rye mash bill.
That's a great diagram that you have there. He's showing me a diagram
Oh,
of
nice.
kind of the distillery from Heaven
The Heaven Hill family tree. Yeah, nice.
and kind of where they kind of branch off to as far as related to mash bills and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. So you have your weeded up at the top, and as you go down, it gets higher in rye.
Yeah, so small batch is not that far down.
And then, of course, you see what's at the bottom in the special category, Parker's Heritage.
Heritage.
There we go.
Oh, my
Various
God.
The
things.
unicorns
It is. It's become my
of the
unicorn.
Haven Hill family. Yes.
Anytime I see that at the bar, that's what I go for. Because
So
I can never find it.
What I think is spice on this is just the proof showing up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's well, that's what time is it? 2:00 in the afternoon, and we're drinking barrel proof, so it kind of hits me on the. on the
Okay.
tongue.
We did
Maybe
warm
that's what
up.
it
We
is,
did
too.
warm up with
Yeah.
some stuff. We warmed up with some
That may be it.
a local KBM pick for the 94 proof Elijah small batch, and then we had a Elijah 23 to warm up with. So a little bit lower on the proof side. And you guys are the ones that kind of got me into kind of rolling into it. I used to just drink whatever I was into,
Yes.
but some people were like, dude, you got to warm up the palate. I think
Warm up.
Edmund was the first person that told me
Yes.
that because I whipped out a Booker's for one of our first bottle shares. He's like, whoa, I got to ease my way into that one.
Yeah, I mean, if you
And so I've tried to start doing that.
Yeah, if you start with a higher proof stuff, you kind of just, kill your palate a little bit. You have to warm up, as Brian said. And maybe even, start with a bit of bourbon with some ice in it. Just even dilute it even further. So,
Definitely makes sense. What is this one?
This is the same one. I'm trying to get my profile here because so I can finish it off here and make some comments on it if they're even warranted.
I think I'll make more comments once I try the next one.
Yes,
the
to
518
compare
and
it.
the 519,
Correct,
so I
yeah.
have something that I like the way this drank. I mean,
This is
Yeah.
vanilla and some
Whiskey
wood,
in there.
and this one,
Cinnamon and
yeah, a little cinnamon on it.
it's got a nice finish.
It does have. It's
tingle-
easy.
tingle
Yeah.
on the front.
It's again, guys. This is 124 proof, and it's not drinking like that. You can feel it, but it's gone. It's not. I'm not sitting there feeling like I still got heartburn a minute later.
you're
it's
right.
Gone.
I mean, the burners on your tongue, it doesn't go down your throat
Right.
like you're drinking,
Get a
kerosene
slight
or.
hug.
I'd
Yeah.
always,
Yeah.
yeah, slide hug. I would always
Right.
prefer that over not a long hug.
You know,
guy.
I started trying to let the bourbon sit on my palate, not swish it, but just kind of put it up on the roof of my mouth and see
Spoon
what
your
I'm getting
tongue.
there, and then swallow and see what.
Sort of smack it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one, for being higher towards that weeded bourbon, for me, sitting there, I still get that. I guess it's the proof. It's a little
Correct.
hotter on my palate just sitting there. Where I can remember having, some of the ones from Buffalo Trace that are weeded, and it's just creamy and oily, and you don't really get that heat until you swallow. So it's a little-
Speaking-
It's also important that we all ate the same lunch,
same lunch.
Right.
and
Very true.
so we're all sort of
Right.
saying because I used to judge I was a certified beer judge, and I would judge homebrew events. And what you ate that day, earlier that day, totally affects. the
That's
way
why I
how-
didn't want to give us a lot of spice or a lot of
Yeah.
because I didn't want it to mess with our palates. I tried to go simple for lunch.
It was perfect. It wasn't too bad. That's exactly what happened yesterday at the Indian place
Yeah.
at Beer Biryani Kebab. We were there and we had our high end purchases,
Yeah.
if you will, the handy Sazerac and some other early, and then we went into just whatever
you've eaten some food.
after we started getting
Yeah.
the crazy spice palette of some of that Indian
That's a
food.
good way to do it.
So Rob, you mentioned the creaminess. I mean, that's one thing that I also get from the barrel proof. It has that oiliness, you know, which you don't normally get on the lower proof stuff that's cut back with water. That viscosity is much higher as well. Also get a lot of of the char because it's non-chill filtered, so it's not they don't take all that
Which I
charness
like.
out, which I absolutely like because
Yeah, I do
it gives
too.
it another dimension which you don't normally get with the lower proof small batch stuff. So.
Well, part of that creaminess is that mouthfeel that you get with all the oils that are still in this that aren't stripped out from chill filtering.
Yeah. Which again I like. So.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. So.
All right,
Brian, you're
so
the
next
bartender
up,
today,
all right,
baby.
all right, I'll do that. So next up is the C917.
No. Are we going to go year?
Oh, I'm sorry. We're going
We're
B,
gonna do
B to
five.
B's. What are we
Do
doing?
all the B's and
Oh,
then do
I'm
all
sorry.
the,
I'm
the
sorry.
A's and the B's. But we don't have the
It
117.
should be the
so-
middle one there, right
Middle
up
one?
one, right there. Is that 518?
This
So
is
we're gonna
518,
skip.
sorry.
We're gonna skip the A's. See
Well,
that we don't have the A117.
Wait, you know what?
Oh, that's fine.
Let's-
I mean,
let's just-
What do you want?
Chronological.
You want to do chronologic
I think
then?
it makes
All right, so
sense.
that was a warm up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look at that. We started with a B517 to warm up.
Now, all right. So now we're going C917. Is that correct?
No, we're going to do A's. So we're going to do
A's.
A118,
Oh,
A119 since we don't have A117.
Okay, but we have C917. I'm just saying.
Yeah. So
Okay.
we're going to do all the A's first, then we'll come back to all the B's,
Okay.
then all the C's, and then we'll do
I have
20.
A118 here.
23.
correct.
45.
So we'll do
A1.
2 A's, the 3 B's, and the 3 C's.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So,
Edmund was asking for a healthy pour on each one if you don't mind.
No, please. I mean,
I think Edmund Ubered.
I think I might. Well, my wife dropped me off, fortunately.
Okay.
So I think I might switch to a smaller glass so you don't feel tempted to pour me this.
That's what it
Because
was.
you see it and you go, I'm not
No,
giving you
I-
much.
I
Your
was
eyes,
paid-
man.
right.
That's why I said get a little
we
weaker.
are.
And you know what
So,
I'm saying?
so I'm sitting here with a
There we
big Kentucky bourbon trail, which I like because it has a wider mouth and it doesn't really shoot the ethanol, especially with the higher proof stuff, up your nose. And the other 3 guys are sitting
Here,
with
do this. For
smaller
I'm-
Glencairns. Just a few guys to.
Jump up and grab that one, pour his, and then dump it into your glass.
I think that's a good idea, but not.
I know. I poured too much in that one.
Holy cow, Brian.
It was an accident.
Look.
Brian is thirsty. He just fill
No,
up his
no,
glass.
right there. How about that? Is that good?
Now
Oh,
let's.
okay.
All right. So, you want to get you some more? Here's some more.
And
of
that's
this.
what it looks like in that
Here.
glass. That's that's hard. That's hard.
That's
to pour
why.
that
It was,
little
that's why
in
I
that
poured so
glass.
much.
Because
But
it looks
you-
like nothing.
You guys can't see it, but when you pour it in the wee Glen, it it's
I
it
feel,
looks
yeah,
like a
I
decent
feel like I'm gonna
pour.
get sloshed with this, and
Yeah.
it's probably not even touching the coating in the
Yeah.
bottom of this.
That's funny. Yeah.
So this is the A118. It's 130.6 proof, 65.3% alcohol. Another 12-year non-chill filtered.
So who can educate the listeners a little bit on non-chill filtered? That matters, and why is that? What makes the difference in the flavor profile if you get something that is chill filtered versus not? Why would they want to know what they're looking for?
What chill filtering does is it strips out the oils.
Just the oils.
And the way this came about was anything over 46%
Alcohol.
alcohol will not get cloudy when you put in ice or water or like cold water. Below that, it will. And so it sort of became industry standard to just chill filter. And so it takes out all the oils and the fats that are actually in the bourbon or Scotch or Irish. It's pretty much it's a part of the distillate.
So if they know it's going to be a lower proof, that's when they chill filter?
Yeah,
Okay.
because it
Okay.
it really originated, I think, in Scotland. You pour a 40 or 43%, and you have it on the rocks, and it just doesn't look appealing when it's
Nothing
bottled.
wrong with it. It's
Right.
just basically
It would taste. It probably tastes pretty similar, but it's just the visual. They didn't like that.
Okay.
And so a lot of times we eat with our eyes. Like
I think we absolutely do.
So, but it definitely takes the oils out, and that's one reason that I think why we all love this bourbon is the mouthfeel that we get from
Yeah.
it. It's chewy, it's rich, that you don't get in some of the lower proof stuff.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean that's spot on. So, I mean the chill filtering, I mean it takes away some of the flavor profile. That's why when the barrel picks that's out there, like the Weller 107s, and though some of them are non-chill filters, and those are pretty high in demand, and they also catch on pretty quickly as well as far as getting it out there. So the word non-chill filtered resonates really well with the bourbon aficionados. They go after that. So anything that's non-chill filtered, that's good stuff. So,
Okay.
not that there's anything wrong with a chill filter. It's just that it brings a different dimension if it's non-chill filtered because it leaves some of the oils behind.
I dig the oils. It's bringing a lot more character to it, and it's also letting me kind of continue to taste it after I've tasted it officially.
And fun fact: if you leave something non-chill filtered, if you live somewhere where it freezes outside, it just turns.
Clouds up.
You get this layer in the bottom of just the coagulations from that process. They show up in the bottom, and it doesn't
Really?
look real pretty.
Kind of like
Yeah.
sediment.
It's cloudy. It's
Just cloudy.
It's almost like a film.
Okay, that's interesting.
But that's on the lower proof.
No,
on the higher.
chill filter.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's the denser oils that drop. As
Yeah.
it cools down, the denser oils will drop down to the bottom. So you'll see a little waxy layer at the bottom of your glass if it's cold outside. So.
Wouldn't know anything about that
You're
here.
welcome to turn that.
Oh, yeah.
If it's
Oh,
more
yeah,
comfortable.
that's fine, yeah.
Okay.
Now this I'm getting more like a caramel and a leather on the nose on this
Yeah,
one.
there's definitely leather. This is different though. I mean, it's absolutely now. It's Rob pointed it out. It's hard to really pinpoint the flavors unless you do a comparison. Then you can
Right.
see the differences. So.
Yeah, our brains just don't work that way.
No,
Pulling
one-dimensional.
out,
Yeah.
flavors, and then just by memory going back
No,
to another, trying to compare it. You almost have to do
side by side.
side by side, and even better, a triangle test
No.
where you have two similar and one unsimilar. And
See if you can pick
and
them
then
out.
you go back and forth and try to find the oddball.
So I mean the proof as well. You
Yeah.
taste it on the tongue.
Yeah.
It's definitely high proof. Its other one was 124, and this one is 130.
130.6.
Yeah, so it's definitely that bite on the tongue is definitely there.
Okay, but I'm going to tell you, and this may sound crazy because the other one's supposedly whiskey of the year. I like this one. No?
I like this one. I think I like the other one more because I've got more cherry from it. That's why. Because I go for the cherry more than this. I'm getting more leather on this one.
Leather
A
and
little more
oak.
wood. Yeah,
Yeah.
wood. Yeah, oak and leather on this one, which is still good. But
It's just different.
right. Well, it gets what we talk about the mic drop. I mean, I like it because I think it's a cherry bomb. you know?
I'm saying it based just on how it feels on my palate. It
Yeah.
sits there
This
a little
one
bit
definitely
better.
has a little more sit on the palate oil
Yeah.
profile. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that part.
So
that
I-
part of it's where I'm looking
Yeah,
at.
I love the oakiness and the leatherness of that. So this one appeals to me. I'm not I'm not a big sweetness bourbon, so that's why some of the bourbons that has a sweeter profile probably doesn't appeal to me as much as the oakier,
Yeah.
older leather tobacco.
That's kinda how
Well, that's why I like
flavors.
reading people's taste profiles: the nose, the taste, or the palate, the finish, and kind of find out what they're tasting and know what I will like. Because again, some people are into the quote oak bombs, and some are into the cherry bombs. I'd probably fall more into the cherry bomb family.
Yeah, this is almost a Buffalo Trace versus Eagle Rare,
Yeah, there you go.
Very true.
where Eagle
Yeah.
Rare is really oaky.
Yeah,
And
yeah. And I'm not a big Eagle Rare fan except for some store picks. I love their Eagle Rare store picks, but the average Eagle Rare, I was kind of, it's okay.
See, and I like an Eagle Rare.
Well, that's the beauty of the world of bourbon. And
but you're
we-
liking this one.
You know,
Yeah, I do.
Rob and I have talked about this extensively.
Taste
It's okay to disagree. It's okay because we
I
have
think that's what makes the world go round.
we have so many different varieties of our taste buds and our nose and things like that. We're bound to have some people think
I like it because when you buy something you don't, I'm here for you.
exactly.
You buy it, you don't like it.
Yeah. Well, and you did that for me with the Rock Hill Farms, right?
At the Rock Hill Farm.
You're like, I hate this. I'm like, I liked it. And you're like, okay, here it is. All right.
Which is, I love
perfect.
Elmer T. Lee and a couple of the other ones, but For whatever reason, I didn't
Yeah.
like the Rock Hill
I
Farms.
like people ranking like the
Yeah.
ones they like. And Elmer T's my favorite, honestly, followed by the Hancock, followed by the Rock Hill, then Blanton's last. Actually, other people were like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you."
And to be fair, I probably need to try Rock Hill Farms again.
Yeah.
Because I did that early on in my get into bourbon kind of.
Yeah.
And I think if I went back and tried it again, I might have a different opinion now. But, we'll see.
It makes it great for the trading as well. You open a
Yeah.
bottle that you don't like. I mean, Brian, I know you love the Elmer T. Lee. I don't
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah.
It tastes like dirt to me. So, that's why
It's perfect, but again, I mean, it makes common sense. And what drives me crazy on some of the bourbon pages is when you have people troll other people for a different taste profile rather than, "Oh, really? I didn't like it." It's a nice, polite way to say I didn't like it, and that's cool. I think Glenn and I had a couple of exchanges about that. I didn't really like it. Oh, I like this, and it's fine. Everybody's taste buds are different. It's cool,
Not just bourbon. I mean, that,
Oh
for
God,
me,
no,
goes
no,
into
no, wine.
and
Yep, 100% wine.
Scotches
And
probably.
anything that's subjective.
Yeah.
Anything. And guess what? Taste
Women?
buds are objective as hell. Women are another story. Yes.
Let's not go there.
What? No?
No.
Okay.
My wife might be listening to this soon. So.
And Edmund, you're from British Columbia?
No, it's South Africa.
South Africa. I figured people would pick up on that.
Yes.
I've only started hanging out with Edmund since I saw The Mandalorian.
And you always have a chubby when you're around him. It's like you have a little crush on him.
I love that accent. I'm telling you, man. And after it got reinvigorated. I remember it from back in Lethal Weapon 2, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then when I saw The Mandalorian, and there's an actor on there, and he's doing it for he's one of the old Imperial people that's hiring a bounty hunter, and he's got this very strong South African
I
accent.
like this.
That's good. I like it as well.
Yeah.
So
I do like it.
Yeah.
So far, my favorite was the first one.
But
More
to
on the
your
cherry.
point, I
It's
felt
a cherry.
like I had to apologize for not liking the
No,
bourbon of the
oh
year.
God,
Yeah.
no. And we've
One
talked
of
about
those
that.
things when everybody likes it, you feel like, God dang,
you
what's wrong
feel
with that?
obligated
No.
that you should like the whiskey of the year.
Yeah, how could I not? But-
Well, here's another example. I don't think Sazerac 18 or Eagle Rare 17 are all that great. If I had, even though I know trading wise, I could probably trade an Eagle Rare 17 for at least 1.5 George T. Staggs. I would do that every day. I'd pick the Eagle Rare and then find a friend that wanted to give me 2 George T. Staggs for it, or 1 Stag and 1 Weller. I mean, these have neither one of those really did it for me. But everybody's different,
Why is that? Do you think it's too much oak in those? I mean, they're all 17 and 18 years.
They are, but I mean, one of my favorite
pace
bottles
myself.
on the planet is Elijah 18, and so I don't know that it's just purely an age level, but I just wasn't blown away by the Eagle Rare 17 or the Saz 18. The Thomas Handy this year is fantastic, and I prefer that to the Saz 18 from a rye selection.
Somebody mentioned the word oak bomb. So Brian brought a Elijah Craig 23 year. I mean, that's been sitting in the barrel for 23 years, and we all had a sip of that, and I think we all unanimously agree that's a lot of oak. I mean, so much so that it dominates your palate. All you taste and all you smell on your nose is the oak. And I agree with Brian. The sweet spot for me is Elijah Craig 18. I can drink that all day. But then there are some people that also feel that it's overpowering. And I've built up from the oakiness. I mean, over the many years, initially I didn't like all the oakiness, but now as I drink more, it kind of resonates better with my palate. The oak
Your
then
palate changes over time.
it does,
Right.
So
Well,
it matures kind
and
of.
what you just had for lunch might change it as well,
Correct.
Yeah.
And that's funny that when you get into the world of spirits at all, any kind of wine, whiskey, whatever, that your palate does change, whether it's wine, whether it's bourbon, whether it's scotch, or
Yeah, and you have to try things that I say a minimum of 6 times, different times of the day. After different
meals.
foods.
Yep. And over time as
Yeah.
well. So a great example of that is I thought Barterhouse 20 was crap when I first opened it. I tried it a month or 2 later, still thought it was crap. I gave it a try literally 2.5, 3 years later, opened it up, and I fell in love with it again. I fell in love with it for the first time.
Right.
I finally liked it after it being open, quote, open for almost 3
That's
years.
the other thing is, as you open a bottle, it's oxidizing, so it does
Yeah.
change the profile
Yeah.
of it
Yeah.
over time.
Yeah, it was the oakiest of oak bombs I'd ever had, and I wasn't into it. And then 1, it opened up, and 2, my palate changed.
That's when you open a fresh bottle. I mean, you pour it in your glass and let it sit there. So what they call it, let it air out a little bit. I mean, if you immediately drink it, you're probably going to get heat, especially if it's barrel proof with some ethanol on your nose. So when it sits there, get some time to air out the ethanol. And as it, as Glenn said, it oxidizes a bit, so it does mellows out a bit before you drink it. So
It's a cue for the next bottle.
That's the next bottle.
So we're doing A to A, right?
A to A.
Okay, so this is A119. We're jumping up in proof to 135.2 and 67.6%.
That's a hot one.
That's a hot one. Yeah.
Thanks, sir.
And if I underpour any of you guys, let me know.
We've got a long ways to go, so
I'm not going to listen to any
Be modest.
overpours, but I will potentially underpour some of you guys.
We sort of want to talk about the reason why we're doing A's together and B's together and C's together over different years. Is they're parts of different, they're distilled at the same time a year. And so profiles throughout the year change as the temperature and the seasons change.
In the rick
So
house.
that's part of the reason why we're trying these in these in this order.
I can't remember what this tastes like. This is, again,
Which is
the
a great point.
Yeah. But I'm already getting the cherry, so I'm
Yeah,
just.
I am too. It's a
I'm,
little
I'm
sweet.
guessing I'm going to like this one more than the last, even though the last one was good.
yeah, I agree with you. This one doesn't have that leather,
No, it doesn't.
leatherness
Leather and
or
oak.
that oakiness or
It's-
tobacco.
It's more muted to me.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah,
Like-
definitely.
See,
Yeah.
again, it's just crazy. Everybody's nose and everybody's taste. I'm getting all kinds of cherry on this now.
I mean, even though it's higher proof than the previous two, I don't get that ethanol on the nose. So much.
No, I'm not getting any of that.
Yeah.
And I do
And
hear
at that
your
proof,
muted
you'd think
part,
you
though.
might.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely get the sweetness. For me,
I'm
it
getting-
resembles of a Four Roses, maybe, more
Yeah.
than a
Yeah.
typical Elia Craig profile.
Yeah, so I'm getting a muted cherry. It's still
Well,
there.
Compared to what we were just
Oh,
doing.
no,
So,
yeah, okay.
yeah. Any other bourbon, this will be way more
Yeah.
floral.
Yeah, and no burn. I'm not getting burn on this. And we're looking at, again, 135 proof.
I think it might just because our palates are getting used to the higher proof alcohols as well as we progress. I like this one. Definitely sweeter than the previous one. So.
Sweeter, but I'm still picking up on some leather on this one, too.
Yeah, because of the 12-year, the
Yeah.
charness, non-chill filtered, still has that oakiness.
I mean, I like this one as well. To me, it's more creamy
Yeah.
than the
first
B
one.
one that we had, the first one. I think it's
Yeah.
even more creamy than the previous A117. This 118. This is 119.
I think that
Yeah, I
might
like
be
this one
because of the
better.
proof.
Yeah.
The higher the proof you get, the
more
viscosity,
oil?
the
Oh,
more
okay.
oils. There's less water in there, so
That's a good point.
I might like this one better than both the previous two.
Really?
I like the nose on the B517. I like this one from a mouth, a palate.
Yeah, a lot of baking spice.
Yeah.
And it's all mid palate.
Yeah, yeah. Because again, I like a
the finish
very,
isn't
I like a
fast
very
at all.
very mild hug.
it's-
I don't like the.
Yeah, it turns a little tannic on the finish, but it's short.
very short, and it's not pronounced going down. It's not like I get a
correct.
punch and then goes away. It's just very subtle, which surprises me based on the proof.
It's a bro hug,
It's a bro hug. It's just a little fist
not
bump.
not an embrace of
Just a little
your
bump.
of your wife or loved one.
Yeah.
It's a bro hug, and quick like a bro hug.
that's very short finish.
Yeah.
For a barrel.
It
proof.
really is.
Which some people like the short or shorter finishes.
I do,
Some people it depends on what your accent is or what you want to get out of a bourbon.
Yeah.
Whether it's the nose, some people can nose bourbon all day and they're happy with it. Some people want the the front palate or the back end of the palate or the finish is more important. I like a long finish personally.
I was just going
rather
to say the
than
same thing. I want it to
rather
linger.
than a short
I
finish.
like
I
a
want to
Yeah.
feel it. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, again, it depends on how much I'm feeling it.
well, I mean,
I
at some
prefer
point you stop feeling it.
Well, that's the point. So I'm
When you
probably more of a
pass out.
short.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
more of a short to maybe medium finish.
But if it's your profile, I would,
Right.
I love a long finish.
Oh yeah,
You
right.
know, if it's something it's not perfect for you, yeah, a short finish is
Know to be done. Yeah. But this has got a longer finish, I think, than the first one that was the cherry bomb on the 517.
Mm-hmm.
So out of these two, because we're just going to
A
critique
to
the
A.
A's.
A to A.
We don't have the 117, the 118, 119. I think I like the 118 better.
Same here because of
Overall.
the oakiness and the leather.
You do too?
It's a toss up.
Yeah. I'll be the minority. That's cool. I like this one the most.
I like the
I like
taste of this one.
8119,
I like
yeah.
the nose on the other one.
I like the nose on the first one, the B517. I know I'm bastardizing the ABCs, but
What
yeah.
the hell, man? We're
Sorry,
not doing
I'm sorry,
that.
I'm sorry. But no, I like this one both mouth and nose, actually.
I'm glad I'm glad I have the A118 because of these three, that's my favorite. So.
Really?
Yeah, my favorite as well.
What the-
Well, I'm going to be curious when we get to the end of this if, we're going to all probably identify which one we like as far as A, B, in each of those series, but will we then be able to,
Figure out you.
Remember?
well, go, I like A better than this B, I like the A118 better than the B519 or whatever.
I don't think we can.
I don't either. I think
That's
that's
too
tough.
many.
We would
I
have
mean,
to do
it's-
side by sides.
It's like you say. I mean, you can do a triangle, but if you start getting 3, 4, 5, 6, I mean, you can.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
I
just
cannot
confusing.
remember what I had 3, 4, glasses ago. I
Well,
think
that's what we do when we did the Franken bourbon. It was the Franken Pappy and the Franken birthday bourbon, and we had them with the real Pappy
Yeah.
10 and the real birthday bourbon, so that we could do that one-on-one, and we went back and forth
That's right.
with a little bit of water in between each. Because again,
Yeah.
I think what Glenn said, I think it's too hard once you start.
If they're all different, I mean, if you have a Eagle Rare, you have the Light Creek, and you have a McKenna, then that's fine. You can have 4 or 5 of those. But if you have,
Right.
4 or 5 of those, the same thing, I think it's, for me at least, it's very hard to distinguish
I
at
agree
the
with
end
you.
which one is going to be my favorite.
And the
So.
order matters as well.
Yeah, very true.
All right, so do we need to go back to the B517? A tiny splash?
we
I think so.
We should write this down because
That's
I'm
why
getting
I brought
confused.
a pen and paper, so.
Let's
Or is it just me?
let's do that, and then again, just I promise to pour a small pour.
Yeah, I'm going to pour this one out. I'm not going to make it.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to.
It's not that I don't like it. It's just, a lot of...
All right, so we're gonna go back to the 517 just for comparison purposes. Sorry.
Which one did,
It's the
did you
proof
like?
speaking to
Glenn?
you, Ryan.
118 better, a little bit overall, or was it a toss up?
It was a toss up.
We haven't even got to the
Awesome.
C's. I'm going to call my wife.
The 19 was your favorite?
Yeah,
Okay.
of the A's.
So now we're back to the B517.
Yes. Well, we're going back to the B. That's why I wasn't pouring such a
So
big.
this is the
It's the
B5.
B517.
So this is the whiskey of the year.
This was the whiskey
Ladies
of the
and
year.
gentlemen, this
Yes.
should blow our socks off.
We've already had it though, so now we're going back to it because
Oh,
we're gonna do
okay, that's
we're gonna do
true.
517, 518,
But
519.
we also didn't have one of these to compare to.
True.
True.
That's
as
true.
well. So now
Yeah.
we're maybe
So now
more
we're getting the
acclimated.
Glen Triangle.
And I've had a few of these hot ones on my palate, so now I'm curious to see.
Yeah.
What, a
This is the
124?
lower one, though.
This is the
124.
lowest. I think.
Right.
Lowest, so...
So my palate should be more receptive
Correct.
to.
So you should be picking up flavors rather than
Right.
the ethanol
So,
that burns your...
I'm curious to see how I like this one. Now.
Still getting.
The nose is still amazing.
Yeah, it's still my favorite nose.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, nose is pretty good.
And I know that's not why you drink it, but
I think it's an
Getting
important
so
part
bur-
of drinking it.
Yeah.
bourbon
Well,
geeky.
taste is
Right.
is like 60%
nose,
of
right?
nose.
Think about when you got a cold.
Yeah.
Food tastes like crap, or bland, should I say?
Yeah.
That's interesting. I mean, my wife, when I drink bourbon, I sniff it all the time. She said, "Why do you keep sniffing it?" And I said to her, that I really like to know is my bourbon because that's where a lot of the flavors come out.
I agree.
It's not just about drinking this stuff. I can just, I do it all the time. I'll sit with a glass and every 5 seconds or so I'll sniff it before I take the next sip.
And I'm a big wine guy, and I do the exact same thing with wine. I'll sit there. I can remember doing that last night at dinner. I think I sniffed a glass of wine
too.
for a while before I actually, drank it.
I got a bourbon podcast for you.
Okay.
Suggestion for the future. All your glasses, and let's pour the exact same bourbon in all different glasses.
I think that's a great show.
All right.
Right now we have, what do we have? One.
You've got 4 or
2,
5 glasses up there at
3,
least.
4, 5. I have 5, and if
Yeah.
we get that one, the
Yep.
Bourbon Trail.
Oh,
we'll
and
have
then
65.
the funneled one from the Bourbon Charity, that goes, that's wide and it goes up like a Glencairn.
The whiskey one, the Scotch
Right
one.
there.
Oh, that fancy one.
The one on your barrel.
Oh yeah,
that
the
one?
Peugeot.
Yeah, yes, thank you. That
Yeah.
one. I didn't remember the maker of it. Yeah. So yeah, I think that'd be a good show.
That would be.
Put the
a
same,
show. That's a great.
and
idea.
put a low proof, put something that's a 90, and then put something that's like a 130.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
That'll be a fun show.
I've got to say, this one is pretty good. I
is
mean,
good.
now that we've had a few,
Yeah.
like, you know, Glenn, you pointed out, I mean, this is really good. I can see why that is maybe the whiskey of the year.
Yeah.
Does it?
Um,
I'm going to be curious. I know we'll go as we go, but the A's are kind of fresh in your mind. You're comparing it to that probably now,
yes, of course, yeah.
and so I'll be curious when we're done with this one where it stacks up with these three.
Correct.
so far, the A119 is my favorite mouth. This is my favorite nose. But second is this one. Third is the A118 for me.
Okay, that's
But again,
interesting.
it's a more
Yeah.
cherry bomb,
No wrong
less,
answer.
less oak bomb. Yep.
So does this one have more of the cherry, which you like, than the previous ones?
It has the most cherry on the nose and on the palate for me. Oh, there you go.
We've got a pro here rubbing
Yeah,
his
he's going full Kentucky Trail. Freddie Johnson from Buffalo Trace, where he has you put a little bit in there and smell
in
it.
his hands, and he
Yep.
rubs it, and it
Yep.
smells it off
from
his
Neat. I
hands.
saw that on
Yes,
there.
Yeah.
yes.
But he makes you go like this
Yeah.
Smack it.
Yeah.
and get that heat going.
He's going Mr. Miyagi on you.
But I also heard that Elijah Craig, being a Baptist minister, he didn't drink a lot, so that's the way he would sample.
Yes.
Putting a little on his hands, rubbing it together, and smelling it there to see if he's getting the flavors that he wanted to get out of it.
I really like this one. It's got a lot of leathery notes as well. I didn't pick up a lot of the cherry that
No?
you. I mean,
All right.
on this
I don't
one.
either.
Maybe
No,
I mean
all right.
I love
Yeah.
the oakiness and the leather
Right.
and the tobacco. That's probably what I
Okay.
extract from.
Maybe I'm misinterpreting on
tastes.
this one more tobacco or more cherry than tobacco, but maybe that's what it is. Maybe
Yeah.
you're picking it up as
Yeah.
tobacco,
That's tobacco. Yeah.
but it's a sweeter.
Pour out that, and then spin the remaining what you have in the glass, like spin it around
Okay.
and coat the glass.
You know what I've done at the suggestion of Ernie
Yeah.
was, if I finished this, I would just get a new glass and let
Yes.
this dry out,
Yeah.
and then come back once it's dry and smell. All the alcohol's gone, and all you're
Right.
getting is
yes, it's the
the flavors that are in
flavors,
there,
yeah.
which are very much
Yeah.
pronounced. Then you go, okay, that's what's in this. This.
I'm not sure if you guys have done this, but the next morning, I mean, once you don't wash your glass, you just leave it there. You come back the next morning, you don't smell alcohol. So you don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I
Oh, no.
feel like I want to drink a drink in the 8 o'clock
Exactly.
in the morning, but that oakiness, I just love it. I mean, I just love that smell of
Well, I've got like a big closet at home, and that's where I do my Franken bourbon. Like I pour it into the flask and I mix my
That's the
samples.
laboratory?
It's the lab.
Okay.
And I'll smell them and I'll taste them, and then I put them away for a week and taste them some more. If I don't immediately wash out my mixing flasks, it will absolutely go in there and smell, and it's this sweet smell.
Yeah.
It doesn't smell like alcohol like a bar.
Right.
It smells beautiful.
Yeah.
It smells wonderful.
And doing that and figuring out that just let the glass dry after you had a pour in there. I mean, I was like blown away.
That's
at
amazing.
Yeah.
Well, and if you do that and then you go back to it, you can pick out different things that you might not have picked out.
Exactly. That's where I can find that when I drink it, I didn't pick out some of these things that I'm recognizing or noticing now. Where once it's dried out a little bit, I go, oh, that's in there. That's nice. I didn't. So,
And I mentioned to these guys, my wife is not a bourbon drinker, but what she does like is the empty glass, the flavors. I mean the nose and the aromas that come out of an empty glass, the
yeah.
oakiness and those ones.
Boy, you give big pour.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
What is this one?
Well,
This is B518, so we're doing Bs now. It's 133 proof, so a good almost 10 more than the last one, and 66.7.
Oh, it is 10 more.
Yeah,
That's
so
right.
so the last one we just
124.
had was 124.2. This is 133.4, going from B517 to B518.
Okay, so this, like you say, Glenn, this is the same season, but 2 different years.
Right. So I think the thought of this is that, each one, the A's will see one more
Season.
wintertime
Yeah.
season.
Yeah.
The B's will see one more
Spring.
spring,
Springish.
sort of, yeah.
Starting to warm up,
Yeah,
not quite
exactly.
hot.
And then the C's, which I think, from my experience, and I'm just going by memory, are more of my favorites out of the batches because they get one more summer and
Yes,
so
they do.
they're cooked
So-
a little bit more.
Are those thought to be hotter because the heat's going to burn off the water?
Yeah.
You're going to have more
Yeah,
alcohol.
a little richer flavors.
Yeah.
But also the way the barrel works. I mean, the bourbon extracts the flavors out of the barrel, right? So in the summers, the pores, that's the wood pores, open up, so the bourbon seeps in that. And then
Yeah.
in the winter, it contracts again, and it squeezes the bourbon out of that. So that's how the maturation or the process works with a barrel. That's why, the different summers and different winters.
That's a great
Then-
description. That
yeah.
process a couple of times.
Correct. So
Oh,
the longer, obviously, your bourbon stays in the barrel, the more of that process, the in and the out of the pores and extracting the tannins and the
And it goes
oakiness and all
deeper
that flavors.
deeper into the wood over time.
Yeah.
Which is
In
why
Ken-
that's a great place. So
Kentucky,
Scotland
yes.
is a bad place, and they really have to age their stuff.
that's why everything's
Kentucky's
only
perfect.
80, 90 proof versus
Correct.
higher.
Kentucky's a
proof
great
states.
spot, and then Texas is really bad. You got to. It's like a 2 or 3 years in the barrel is plenty.
Max. Yeah.
Correct.
Oh,
yeah.
really?
Yeah, because it's so
Okay.
freaking hot.
Yeah, I mean, it just
Doesn't get
it
cold enough.
stays.
It doesn't-
it doesn't have the
exactly.
in
So
and out. Yeah.
it pulls. I mean, the bourbon stays in the pores, so extracting all that, so it cannot get over oaky. So you cannot leave in there too long. So
Yeah, I think Whitmire was saying it was like 2.5 years. Is
correct.
what
24,
he maxes
20
out.
26 months.
I think some
Correct,
people
yeah.
will do 3 years.
to
That's about
36,
yeah,
yeah.
36 months. Yeah, there you go.
Wasn't it on Neat where they showed a barrel stave where they said this is how much penetration?
Yes,
Which was very cool
Very-
to,
yeah.
to see that. I didn't realize it
Yeah.
penetrates that much into
Yeah.
the wood over. And I don't remember what the age was on that particular.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
One
the,
that
hot,
came
the
out.
hotter the summers, the further it goes into the
Yes.
into the wood or the pores because it opens up.
Yeah.
So and then if it gets cold, obviously it squeezes it out and backwards and forwards.
And I learned a new term watching, I think it was watching that or somewhere I read it. I just learned it recently. The angel share.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, the evaporation.
The
Yeah,
evaporation.
right. Sure.
That's the angel share.
so they fill the
Ah,
barrel.
yeah, no kidding.
what'd you
So
say?
They're greedy bastards.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So they fill the barrel up to the. I'm not sure if it all the way,
It's
but
basically to the brim.
yeah, and then as it sits in the barrel, all the evaporation, whether it's water or alcohol, both of them. So obviously, the more water evaporates, the higher proof it will be as it exits the barrel. The more alcohol or ethanol that evaporates, the lower the proof would be. That's why you get the difference between the proofs in the different barrels.
I haven't done the Buffalo Trace tour, but some of my friends have, and they've shown pictures
They have a barrel.
of a
Yeah.
barrel
Yeah.
of a full.
I've been there.
Yeah, of like a what? It's what looks
It goes
like
up
an
to
8.
23.
Yeah, 8 years.
And
Yep,
there's-
yep. 12, 18, 23, and you see how much you're like. Okay, that's why you only put out so much, and that's why it's so damn expensive because
Yeah.
you've lost so
Yeah,
much.
after 23
So how
years,
much?
it's about, I would say, 10%?
Oh yeah,
left?
you're down to
20%
yeah.
left.
You
Yeah,
would be
10 to
blown
20%.
away.
10% left?
Left, yes. I mean, they
Left.
have
Is it
These
how many
barrels-
gallons in a barrel?
55.
It is 55.
yes.
Okay, I was wondering if it's.
So they have these barrels that's cut in half, and they have a
Yeah.
plexiglass, so you can see. I think it's a simulation. They don't
Yeah.
really sit
No,
there. So,
sure.
but in any case, that's from experience. This is how much is left, and it's about 10 to 15 or 20% left after 20 odd years. That's just
Yeah.
the evaporation.
About
so-
half. I want to say half is about 10 to 12 years.
Yeah.
In the barrel.
That's crazy.
It's impressive.
Hence the prices. I mean, if you look at Pappy,
Yeah.
beside the fact that it's Pappy, but 23 years, I mean, that's why Lycrate, all these age or longer age bourbons are so expensive because the yield is so small. So,
Right.
from a 55 barrel, you don't only get so many bottles. You don't get
Right.
200 to 40 bottles. You get 50 bottles. So,
Yeah, that's a great point.
All right. What
I
do we?
didn't realize it
I'm
went
sorry.
that much.
correct.
I
All
thought maybe you
evaporation.
lose 20 to 30%. I didn't realize
No.
you're losing 80 to 90%.
It was. It
Depending
was
on the
impressive.
few years. it
Yes.
was-
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's concentrated the flavors as well. Obviously, all that oils. It's not the oils that evaporate. It's only the
Alcohol and
volatiles.
water.
It's the volatile components like alcohol and whatever other volatiles are in the water, of course, as well.
I'm getting a mix of honestly bananas Foster. I'm getting bananas and cinnamon on this one.
And this is the 5.
This is the 518.
518.
Yes.
Uh,
This is my favorite.
You're right. There is
I
some.
get the Heaven Hill funky, nutty,
Mhm.
sort of banana, like you were saying.
Yeah, now I'm going for the taste, but the smell was bananas Foster.
So those of that Jack Daniel's barrel proof, single barrel proof, it's got a lot of banana bread, bananas Foster. There's a little bit of resemblance of that in this one as well. It's definitely different. I don't get the leather or the oak. I mean, there is oak in there, but I don't get the
That's how it's
oak.
pronounced.
It's not as pronounced as the previous one.
This is, Glenn, this may be my favorite as well. This and the A119 are pretty darn close for different reasons. So. This has got a lot more oil for me, at least. I don't know what your taste you're getting out.
Yeah.
I'm getting a lot
I
more,
agree.
and I'm getting a stronger, I'm getting a tighter hug, but still quick. It's not lingering for me.
It's a lot of spice on the tongue, though.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it's
That's
from
what
the
I'm
proof.
getting. A lot
But it's
of
almost
spice.
effervescence.
Yeah, it
The way
does.
Something
It's like
carbonated
a
tastes
bubbly,
on your-
kind of a bubbly.
Yeah.
You're right. So I'm not sure if that's from the spice or from the alcohol. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's 10 proof higher
Yeah.
than the B517, but I'm liking this a lot.
Although one of the previous ones was one in the 130s as well, and I didn't get
135.
that.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
A119 was 135
Yeah.
and A118 was 130. So they
No,
were.
I didn't get that that spice on the tongue.
And I'm going
that
to tell you
resembles the
that
ethanol.
I'm getting the same exact thing, and to me, it's not something that I'm a real fan of.
Correct.
So I'm like,
Yeah.
for me, this
So
would be my
I'm gonna
least
go home and
favorite
look.
right now.
And if I've got some A118s, I'm going to trade you for them for
Yeah.
a B518
Okay.
because I'm digging this one.
B518.
Yeah,
don't think I have that.
I would
Yeah.
say out of all of them so far, this is probably my
Yeah.
least favorite.
This-
I'm with you.
I've got several A1 or A119, so I won't mess with that. But if I can find a B518, I think I'm going to grab
That
it.
wasn't pleasant to me.
I think it's maybe because you and I like Dickel.
It might be why.
Bottle and Bond.
We're one of the few intelligent bourbon drinkers.
All right, so let's just go ahead and put. I've got 2 bottles at
Nobody said
home
anything.
unopened.
Nobody said anything. Okay.
I don't know what I have. So.
Where's the
You like
wa-
Dickel or no? Oh, you don't.
All
That's right.
I wonder if I'm going to like it. I have a bottle at home and I have not
Probably
opened
won't.
it.
I have an open
Don't
one.
open it.
Yeah,
I
based-
have,
I have an
Okay.
open one. I'll gladly give you a sample.
I want to taste it to see again because I
I got
think
an open
you
one
and-
right now. You
Okay, we'll do it in a minute.
Yeah.
Because I think you and I seemed, and they seem to have a
Yeah.
little more similar profiles. Not perfect, but it's pretty close.
You talking about mine and Edmonds? or
Yeah, I
about-
think
about perfect?
ours are lining up perfect. All right, so we're going to B519, right?
B519, which I'm just going to throw it out there. I mean, in the whiskey world, everybody's talking about out of last year's A, B, and C. This wasn't liked that much. This didn't get good reviews at all. So
didn't.
I'm hoping that doesn't get in my head too much that I just
Yeah.
pour it and sniff it and drink it and don't like it. But
That's a good point. I was tempted to go read a few reviews before we came here today, but I didn't, just because I don't want to get myself influenced with what other.
Yep.
I mean, I want to just taste the stuff and.
I'm telling you, this
I
is
was the
giving the
same
best.
way.
This is giving the weakest bottle pop.
Ooh, which one is that?
This is the 519.
So this is this year's one.
Yes, B519.
in May,
Yep.
May of this year.
I'm going to give you the. This is the one that I picked up at that little mom and pop place down in Mississippi.
And we're at the end. We'll just all sample this and see what we think.
Yeah, and so far,
That's our small batch.
yes, it
That's
is.
our- And if you guys that can't see, I'm referencing to our dump little
Our little,
our
our
little-
spittoon, if you will.
platoon of barrel
This is the
proof.
lowest proof of any of them so far.
Yeah.
122.2, 61.1%.
So as such, this one didn't get such good reviews. I mean, you'll find that the higher proofs like the C919 people rave about, and I'm not sure if they go after the proof or what, but this the 519 versus the C919, the B519 got the lowest rating out there in the bourbon world. So
Wow.
What's it? This year's George C. Stagg.
Oh, right.
A lot of people.
116.
It's the highest rated, right?
Well, no. A lot of people are rating just regular Stagg Junior that came out.
Oh,
as
yeah,
well,
yeah.
Better than. George
So-
And
C.
that was
Stagg.
132.3.
Yeah, somebody had suggested they flipped them. Because most of the George T's are in the 130
yeah,
plus range.
I've
And
never
they're
seen
like,
a
But if you
George
look
T
at the
that
trend,
It has dropped a
17 was
little bit.
129,
Yeah.
18 124, this year 116. I mean, is
and the
there a
years before
trend, or am
that,
I
it was
reading too much into
140
that?
something. The year before that, 144, something crazy in 16 or 17, whatever.
The older
16?
ones seem to have like the hazmats.
Yeah.
140 and above.
Yeah.
The latest ones have been like Rob says,
Lower,
been
yeah, yeah.
pretty low on the proof side.
I'm getting more vanilla on this one
Yeah.
Definitely.
and leather.
Yeah. This has the leather oak sort of combo.
So this is going back to
So this is on like the
The one
the
on
A118.
Yeah.
There we are. I haven't drank
Somewhat.
too much so that I can remember some of these. The beauty of this is we have it on recorded, so we can go
We
back.
do. We can go back and reference.
Yeah, I'm the nose on this is again, it's back to that.
That whistling in the background would be my puppy. I don't know what he's whining about.
He wants to get out.
He wants some bourbon. What's up, Bear? Hey, Pops.
Yeah, this one is different
I
to
would
all
s-
of them. For
This
me,
is
at least.
different, and this drinks the lowest proof. It is the lowest proof. To me, I did like the nose. It has the
So I think this is
weakest palate. Is that?
yeah, but it's more. So I think it's more rounded.
Yeah, no, sure, I
And
got
so
you.
it's not like some of these have like spiky
No,
points in it where it's like really oaky, really.
I can't give you a
This
cherry
is just
or an
sort of
oak
all-
or a
overall.
tobacco. I can't give you any
Yeah.
fig. I can't give you anything off this one. It's just. I think you're right. It's just.
It's
blended.
pretty
Kind of there.
flat. You know,
It-
for me, it's pretty flat in terms of
It's-
it.
So that's a
it
great way
falls
to
flat,
describe
yeah.
it, flat.
Yeah, I don't get any pronounced flavors from that.
I
This
like
one is
it,
a short,
but
short
nothing jumps
on
out.
the tongue and short on the finish for me at least. So.
Yeah. No one taste jumps out. It's just kind of. It's smooth though.
This
I
one
like what Glenn
missed,
said.
I would say.
It does.
It misses.
And that's maybe why it's not such higher rated. It's got nothing to do with the proof. I mean, for me at least.
But
I mean,
as
we're
a-
still talking 120 proof, still
Right,
pretty
right.
high.
yeah.
But as a
Okay.
background whiskey, like something. I mean, I could drink this all day long.
Correct.
I think it's delicious,
Yeah.
but it's not as interesting as some of
It
these
doesn't
others.
stand
There you
out,
are. It's
yeah.
the least interesting one. I don't think it sucks. It's
No.
not bad. I'd still buy a bottle if I saw it. It's the least interesting.
That's a
I
great way to
love
put it.
that description.
Because of nose, front of the palate, back of the palate finish, nothing really pops and goes.
Stands
Nothing
out.
aggressive.
Nope.
It's just all just
It's not unique.
warm
I mean,
and
it's
happy, but
for me, it's just like a higher proof small batch.
B518 standing out
It's
right
chill
now.
filtered. It's as if this one is chill filtered. They took some of the oils out of this one.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
So that's B519. We've done all three of the Bs. I'm going to say B. Fuck. Sorry.
518's my favorite.
518's got to be my favorite so far, and I think the A1.
517 was maybe
Yeah. The 517 was good. 517 was
for
my
me
favorite
really-
nose.
Yeah.
My favorite nose was the 517. The profile was 518, maybe followed by A118.
Oh,
But 518 is.
that's the leathery oaky one.
I know, but it still
which
was
is
good.
I mean,
I
the
liked it better than the
517
A119, though.
The 517 for me is my favorite. That's followed by the 118, and the rest kind of a blur. So
Yeah, 518's my favorite.
519 is my least favorite. Well, comparative.
518 is my least favorite, and well, again,
519.
I like Glenn. 519, sorry, 518 is my favorite. 519 is the least interesting. I like the way Glenn put
Glenn,
it.
your favorite of the bees?
yeah, 518.
Edmund, you concur?
of the bees. Yes, sir.
All right, we're all the same there.
So we're moving to the C's.
We are moving to the C's.
Final home stretch.
917 or 918.
91.
No, we have a
We have
17.
seven.
We have a
no, we
number
have,
seven.
we have a 7. Hold on.
I brought the 7. It should be there.
And we have
Sorry.
8 and a 9.
I'm getting
Could be a.
Is that it?
This is it. You mind if I pop this one?
No,
Pop it.
Get right up
But
on the.
you have a pretty high standard with.
This is the wrapper.
Oh, he got the crinkle wrapper sound in there too.
There you go, Edmund. Interestingly,
Get
again,
the cork wet. again.
the 519 had the weakest bottle opening, and I think it goes back to the taste. It has the weakest
It's
profile.
weak everywhere.
Some water in there.
Oh, yes, sir. Thank you.
So this one is the 9th month of 2017.
So September. All of these will be September releases. September
Correct.
17, 18, 19. Glenn, how long you been into bourbon and whiskey? Tell everybody a little bit about your journey through bourbon.
So in college, I was a Crown and Coke, thanks to my roommate at the time. But after that, after I graduated, I started homebrewing, and not after I graduated. While I was still in school, mostly thanks to organic chemistry, I did a lot of brewing and got into brewing a little more heavily. Not so much bourbon, but I still Makers and Coke and
Okay.
Coke kind of thing. And then it's only been past maybe 3-4 years where I've gone away from the and Coke
Okay.
to more, rocks than neat, and then also dabbling in scotches and
Dabbling. I'd say you more than dabble in scotches.
Well, compared to my bourbon collection,
Okay.
it's a dabble.
And you've been into bourbon now, drinking it, neat or with ice, or where you kind of enjoy
Definitely
it.
more into it the past few years. I would say maybe 2 to 3 years.
Okay. Because you would be a guy I would describe as diving in deep too. You have quite a bit of knowledge on this stuff. It's a passion of yours, I would guess.
Yep. I would
Not
definitely
just
agree with
drinking
that.
it, but kind of learning
Yeah.
about it.
Oh, yeah, I love learning about, distillation. It was part of organic chemistry. I did distillation
Yeah.
in school, run stuff through a gas chromatograph just to see what alcohols were and stuff. And that was sort of what got me into brewing. And then I've always just liked, the distillation process.
Hopefully, you didn't put any good bourbons through that gastric.
There was no, it was just beers.
Perfect.
And Edmund, your kind of your background in bourbon, and
Well, I mean, it's pretty much 5 years since I started. I have a buddy that introduced me to Crown. I didn't like that. And then he pulled some Knob Creek out. So I started with Knob Creek. This, the standard off the shelf, Knob Creek.
but I got to ask, when I think Crown, I always think mixing.
Correct.
And
That's Crown and Coke, or,
That's how he
7 Up.
introduced you to it.
Yes, and
Okay.
I absolutely did not like
Or
it.
you're shooting it.
Yeah, versus
Yeah. Wasn't that when we on the Frankie Bourbon episode? Wasn't that it was Crown and Coke, and then I had Captain and Coke. That's what I
Yeah.
started with.
I
was
started with
Captain
Crown
and
and
Coke. Did you? Oh, yeah, I went straight from Captain to straight into the bourbons when I moved to Tennessee. That's what. Yeah.
So about 5 years you've been into
Yeah, and then I moved over to Woodford. So I still have a soft spot for both Woodford,
And Knob
especially the double oak, and lately the double oak. For those that, it's like an oak bomb, but it's a lot of sweetness. I describe it as a dark chocolate.
It's almost like
covered-
drinking a port after
Correct,
dinner.
yes.
I
It's,
mean, when you treated
Yeah,
us
it's so
to
sweet.
trying that, man, that was I mean,
Yeah.
quickly I went, okay, I like this a lot.
And it sounds over oaked, but it's not.
No.
It's I don't know if that's the third oaky journey that the bourbon took through the barrels, kind of just mellowed
Yeah.
out, but it's like dessert.
yeah, you'd think it would be just the opposite direction. Too much of an oak bomb. It was a port type drink. It was a dessert.
Yeah.
Don't they the second oaking? It's a lighter char.
Correct.
Right?
Yes. Yeah. It's not.
so it's-
Otherwise, it
you
would
get-
just.
it's sort of that toasted versus the heavy char
Yes.
in it. So I think that pulls out more of the sweetness. That you're getting, like you're saying, sort
Yeah.
of chocolatey. Would
Yeah.
come from those vanillins.
So you come from South Africa,
I do.
and is bourbon? I mean, I know you're a wine guy like me. Wines are popular in South Africa. You guys have some great wines over there, but is bourbon a thing over there?
Not at all. I didn't know about bourbon. Scotches, yes, because South Africa's ex-British colony,
Yep.
so you get some good Scotches, and I had some Scotches, Jameson and all the different Scotches. Doesn't make me a lover of Scotch. I mean, we were just talking earlier. I still have struggled, especially with the peated ones. So I pretty much stick to bourbon.
So bourbon's
and,
your thing.
It is my thing. I mean, I like the Japanese ones because, like the Yamazaki 12, for me, it's like a bourbon drinker's Scotch because it has that little bit of oakiness, sweetness to it, not like the regular Scotch. I mean, I just cannot stand the peated stuff. So
But since you like wine, I think there's an avenue into scotches that can align with your
Yeah.
wine tastes.
See,
I
and I
think-
kind of say the same thing about bourbon. Sorry.
Yeah.
didn't mean to cut you off.
No.
I say the same thing about bourbon. Being a wine guy, that's kind of how I taste wine and fine wines and the different types of wines and what you drink wines with, depending on what kind of wine it is. To me, came into the bourbon world pretty easily.
Yeah, and that's what we talked about that in that last podcast. Was I went from Captain and Coke, pretty much that was from college through med school through my early training, and then when I moved to Tennessee, my wife and I would just grab great bottles of Merlot or a Cab, finish them off for the night. Then she got pregnant. She stopped drinking. I looked for another avenue, and bourbon was that avenue. And then postpartum, she got into Heineken, which I think is just skunk beer, personally.
I do too.
And so I'm like, what are you drinking? Are you drinking wine tonight? Or are you drinking Heineken? If she was drinking Heineken, I went for a bourbon. And my go-tos were Knob Creek and Woodford. And the double oak was my favorite.
Tell me if you know this or not, or if you've heard this. I've actually heard it, went through and tested, getting on to beer a little bit. Anything in a green bottle, pop it open, smell it. It's got that skunk flavor.
I know about this part. So it's 4-methyl mercaptan is the compound in hops so that's the skunky, right? That's the same chemical that skunks produce.
Really?
I did not know
It's
that.
the exact same compounds. What happens is the chlorophylls in it's the beta acids in hops react to UV light.
That's what somebody told me.
And
It's the
so
light hitting it that creates that.
It some of the, it's been forever since my organic chemistry, but some of those bonds break and create that 4-methyl mercaptan.
So doesn't the people that make these green bottles, I'm surely they must know that, or is it intentional to
So
create a skunky beer?
So they had addressed it. So I don't know if you guys ever had Rolling Rock.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So they had addressed that, but the public liked that profile so much that they were complaining they had to go back to making it the old way. And so what they can do is they can take hop oils that don't have the chlorophyll in them. So those are produced by high pressure and CO2, and they extract the oils out of the hops. So they can put that in to better the beer. And so that was a way around, and that's why, like MGD, it's in a clear bottle, which would be horrible, right? But they use those hop oils instead of the plant matter to get around that issue. And so it's the same thing with Heineken. They
So it's true. Green bottles kind of typically have that with the
Skunky.
sun.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah, brown bottles are the best. Cans are even better. I know they have a stigma,
Right, they do.
but cans are a far superior package as far as
And you all thought-
oxygen and light. They're
Yeah, it's
Almost
a
perfect.
stainless steel vat.
yeah,
You
exactly.
guys thought you were listening to a bourbon show today.
Thanks for that, Glenn. I learned
Yeah.
a lot now.
No.
Just, you know,
It's called bonus content.
absolutely.
Yeah.
We'll charge extra for that.
Yeah, absolutely. I just got educated. I didn't know the law. I was right in my assessment of green bottle equals skunky beer. I just didn't have the fancy terminology and everything that you have, the knowledge of why that actually happens.
So-
green, skunky.
So just to go back to Scotch, and before we started here, we had a discussion. I mean, Scotch obviously is much older than bourbon, and I think to what Glenn said, I mean, Scotch is you get so many different types of Scotches, and it's sophisticated. And I think the fact that I haven't had a Scotch mentor, I've had a kind of a bourbon mentor. That's why I'm too scared to move into the Scotches because, I think I've had some, not bad Scotches, but Scotches that really conflict with my bourbon palate, that it's just put me off. So I think if I stick with somebody, I mean, it sounds like you
I think we can blow you away with Scotch.
yeah. So I mean, that's for the listeners. I don't want to put you guys off that Scotch is not for the bourbon drinkers. I think you just need somebody to educate you and
I
guide you
totally agree with
to the
that.
right Scotch.
It would be fascinating to see between Glenn and I guess, again, I have a decent number of Scotches. Definitely have more Japanese, but I have some Scotches. Which ones, based on your, Rob's profile, taste profile, mine and Glenn's, which ones you guys prefer on the Scotches? Because mine are peat-ish, should I say. It's the Bunnahabhain, it's the Cow Isla, it's a little bit of the Lagavulin, but not much more outside of that,
Yeah.
But Japanese has been more mine, and again, I think it's an easier meld, if you will, with the bourbon drinker.
Yeah,
is
absolutely.
is
No, the
Japanese
peated
stuff.
ones. I mean, I've being a South African, I have quite a few Scottish friends, and when they pull out those Bunnahabhains and Octagons and whatever,
Yeah,
Octomore,
Octomore is too much.
sorry.
Octomore is too much.
It is just blows
Oh,
my
no,
palate
that's too much.
to pieces. I just cannot
Yeah.
taste
I think
anything.
the hard
after
part
that,
is,
so.
is you really have to identify what your palate is. What do you enjoy out of, say, a bourbon? What experience are you enjoying out of that? And what flavors you really appreciate from that? You can find those same flavors in scotches. You just have to know where to look.
Yeah.
Same mouthfeel, same
Yeah,
flavors. It's these, bourbon is much sweeter.
yeah.
And
Well, it's
overall,
corn. So much corn.
yeah, but you know, it's might be ramped down, but there's still some of those same flavors that you can get in scotches.
Back
So-
to the Elijah Craig. This is the 519.
Yeah. No.
No.
So this is
517.
C.
See, not one.
C917.
C917.
So this is
And
the
I'm
September 2017, the last batch of
So this is
I'm
2017.
not a fan of this one.
I've only smelt it so far,
Okay.
and
I
it's
like
different.
this
one. I
It's
like
different
it.
than every one
Yeah.
I've smelt so far. This is the most different nose. I'm getting like caramel and
Yes.
like lemongrass on this thing.
This is one is probably the most different one from the other ones. The other ones had similarities, but
What are you
far.
getting on the nose?
Yeah.
It's
So,
creamy.
I'm telling you, I'm getting like
A little
caramel
citrus.
and well, okay, lemongrass, citrus.
as far as
Okay,
citrus note,
it's vanilla
Yeah,
on the
like-
tongue,
black pepper.
spicy.
very
But a lot
spicy.
of
I think
vanilla,
that
a lot
might
of
be-
caramel on the tongue as well, which it's not bad. It's just not. I didn't expect that. You know, for a 12-year-old.
this is definitely the spiciest of them.
Yeah.
but not hot. I'm not like
No.
I'm not clamping my chest here.
Agree with you.
I think this one's one of the most complex ones.
I'd agree,
Out
especially
of
coming
both.
off of that. What was that? The 519,
Yeah.
the B519,
yeah,
right?
which was the flat
which
one.
was the
Yeah.
least interesting, to use Glenn's
Correct.
word. Yeah. God,
I like this one.
but it's
Absolutely.
different. It's, not like what I was liking
Yeah.
before on the A119 or the B518.
Yeah. Like, this one's really dry.
I don't get a lot of corn notes as well.
No.
You know, like a nuttiness.
It's
a
like
lot of
Glenn's,
caramel.
it's citrus
you know.
and caramel
Yeah.
on the nose
like
and
this
on the
one.
palate.
Because it's different. I mean,
I think there's a lot of char in it.
I do get the
because
char.
it's so dry, you get a lot of wood tannins.
Ooh, I'm getting some pepper.
Yeah.
I like this one.
Ooh,
You like that one?
Ooh, I like this one. This one's got a lot to it, man.
It
I
does.
like
It's not. I mean, it's as I said. I like the oakiness and
Yeah, nothing
leatherness,
more in
but
there.
I don't get
I
that.
drink it all.
But what I get from this is different enough to
I like it.
override my preference for oakiness and leathery and tobacco. If that makes any sense.
Mm.
It's like this is one that I would have a pour
Is
and
that
then
us?
sit with it and just try to dissect this for
Mhm.
like an hour. Like what am I getting out of this?
It's very complex.
It is.
I agree
It
with
is
you.
so compact. Whereas the last one, it's
Was-
something you're watching TV and just
Yeah.
you're
Yeah,
just
yeah,
drinking, not even paying
Yeah.
attention to it, you know. But you still want.
I dig
something
this
really
one. Yeah, I dig this one.
Yeah.
So I'll put this one as an actual outliner, outsider,
It's
whatever you want to call
so
it.
outside the box,
On
yeah.
the distribution curve, you know, if you look statistically for me, that's like the outliner. Because it's so different to the other
I
ones.
like it. It's an outlier in a good way.
Yes.
Still not my favorite. Again, I'm still probably going to go.
518.
Well, what I think we should do is we identify our three favorites
Yep.
of A, B, and C.
Yep.
And then go back and taste those.
So do,
Not that we're trying to
And then
add
we-
different
and then
ones.
we-
Not that we would have.
And then we
enough
go
bourbon
purchase
by
some
then.
stock in
Right.
Uber and Lyft.
so
Yeah.
can you recite that back to us? Where do we sit on the two previous batches, the
this
A's
is
and
good.
the
So on the
and
A's, Rob and Edmund preferred A118, and Brian and Glenn preferred A119. On the B's, it was unanimous that all four of us liked the B518. And here we go on C's.
All right. C918. Glenn, you want to open one?
Sure.
All right. This is. Oh, it's unopened too.
That's yours, right? I mean,
Oh, that's unopened, so that's not mine. Mine, I think, is already open. If you want to
You
open
can
it.
open mine too. I don't care. I think it's mine.
that's your. It's yours.
Here's C918 unopened. If you want to do
Yeah,
that.
we'll do the.
Let's just do the unopened.
Yeah.
Whoever brought the
No reason-
918.
Because there is difference between bottles that's been sitting
No,
open
sure.
for a while, and then the ones that's closed.
Yeah.
That gives it
The
the pop.
oxidation.
Yep.
Swell the cork a little.
Nice one.
Yeah.
Get a little salt on the mouth.
Oh no, I've been If I'm trying to go quasi keto, I've been hitting your pretzels here. They actually are good in pulling out stuff, better than the breadsticks,
Mm-hmm.
and bringing out that different. How do you do it with wine? When you're really tasting, I'm not talking about drinking it, hanging out, having food. When you're doing wine, what do you do to kind of clear out that palate between glasses?
I think part of that depends on what wine you're drinking,
Okay.
because the food will
Yeah.
help with that. But I think bread's a lot.
Okay. But would you prefer a straight little pretzel stick
I
like
wouldn't
this,
go-
or a breadstick?
I'd do a breadstick just because with the wine, I wouldn't want the salt in my palate.
Okay. Thank you.
So
This is
what's a good palate cleanser? Is it the salt and the pretzels? I mean, I don't know. For bourbon,
I don't either. I thought
For
the salt
iBrew.
of the pretzel might help with.
neutralize. You know.
Yes, that's kind of what my
flavors.
thought was.
But
But
think
not
about
with wine.
Cooking, right? You have to add salts to enhance
Extract the
flavors of a lot of things. So I don't think it hurts.
I don't think
If
so
it's
either.
a crazy salty, then obviously,
Right.
You know, you're going the
Spicy.
other way.
So this is kind of middle of the road, right? This is C918. It's 131.4 proof. So kind of middle of the road for all of them. And then 65.7.
What's been our highest proof so far? The 136?
Yes. The
Yes.
919. Right.
No, that we
we
haven't
haven't
done
had
that
that.
one
That
yet.
one yet.
I think it was the A119.
A119, 135.2, I
Yeah.
think, right?
Okay.
That would have been
So
the highest. So
we're still gonna get the highest, which is
Highest.
the C919,
okay.
Yes.
which is a 136 point something.
Oh, wow. All right.
So, does anybody remember? You know, again, I didn't start getting into these until I bought this one, but I hadn't had it. What the reviews were on this one?
I don't pay
I
attention
will
to
tell
it,
you that.
honestly.
Is this the C918, right?
Yeah.
This is the one that got me into the barrel proofs.
It is.
And it's the one that, well, a lot of that's just like by chance. I had the most bottles when I went to stores. They had the most of these. And so I have like one of this, one of that, and then I've got like 3 or 4
Well,
of
I think
these.
when
And I-
these roll out,
yeah.
everybody's hunting all the BTAC series. And
So,
all
right.
all
No, in the
other
late
stuff,
fall,
so-
they're hitting, yes, there's less competition for these. But I will tell you that this has been my go-to blend on my Franken bourbons for higher proof. So I'll have a Weller 12, Weller 107. I'll do Rice. I'll do Whistle Pigs and Willet sometimes. This has been my, let's bump the proof up a little bit. It's always been this one,
Is that right?
C918. It's in the one we have on the table right now, the Poor Man's Preacher. Is the C918, 20% of that to bump it
And
up.
just remind them what it's Poor Man's Preacher because it's Elijah Craig.
Elijah Craig, Baptist
But
Preacher.
it's-
And it's Poor Man's based on the Poor Man's Pappy. So it's
a blend.
Yeah, it's a blend
Rather
of
than
107 and Weller 107, Weller 12. And that one's a 40-40 split.
And then 20% of
And
the
then
Elijah
20%
Craig.
Elijah Craig C918. Yeah.
And that's just to bring up the proof, not to
Purely to bring up
enhance it
no,
or bring
it was
any
to
flavor
purely bring up the
profile.
proof because the 107 12 60-40 split is what's traditionally the Poor Man's Pappy.
Those
That's
are
fantastic.
wheated.
But it
Yeah.
brings up
And
the
the wheat-
proof, but it
it
still
does.
affects the flavor profile.
Yeah.
Of course, because you have two
But it's in a
wheaters,
good way.
Yeah.
2 wheaters, the 107 and the
Right.
12, and then you have the Heaven Hill
Yep.
profile, which is different
What's
to the
Weller
wheaters.
12 proofed at?
90.
90.
Yeah.
Yep. 90 and then 107.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I think it's right at 100, isn't
What?
it? I'm trying to think. Or it's
The
just a
one-
little over 100.
105,
which one?
I thought the Hamilton Pappy.
Poor Man's Pappy is
No. I'm saying, okay. Oh, gosh. No. It might be like closer to 115 then, right?
So this is going to
I
be
have to do
about
my math.
112.
No,
The Poor Man's, or the Preacher. The
Yeah,
Old
let
Man's
me,
Preacher.
let me see what I got.
no,
here,
you,
yeah.
I mean, you wrote it, it's 106.
I wrote it. Is it 106?
Yes.
It's got to be
Because you
higher
have,
than that.
no, you have 40, 40.
All right,
so
so
you
I
have
got
two.
90.
You have 107
yeah.
and you have a 90
0.4.
food.
What's
90
40? The 107?
Yes, 40 at the 107 and you have 40 at 90. So that will bring you to where? That's a 50-50. So
hold on,
that
I
will
got-
bring you closer to 95,
7.
What was it?
96.
Are we at C918?
And then, you have only 20%
That's going to
of
be
the
about
highest.
98. Right?
So you wrote in mine 106 on my Poor Man's Preacher.
Yeah, 106. That's what it is. Yeah, 106.
You don't believe me?
Yeah, no, I couldn't remember.
We're just testing you after 4 pours of or 14 pours of bourbon.
yeah.
If you can
I know
still do math.
my wife says my memory is bad, but
No, you
I
nailed
looked at
it.
it this morning when I came over here.
No, you nailed it.
Okay, I still haven't tried this, but I like it on the nose.
So I get more ethanol burn on this one.
I
Do you really?
yeah.
Why do I not?
Like vanilla and ethanol.
Ooh, a
And
lot of
some cherry, but
Dude,
not
a lot of
much.
spice on the
Did-
tongue.
This is
Is
a little
there again?
scary. Glenn and I, I'm just going to figure out because he and I think, are going to hunt for the same bottles. Because I think we have a very similar palate and profile, or definitely on the nose here. I'm getting a light ethanol, but I'm getting vanilla. Yeah.
I just can't get anything past that.
No,
This one is hot.
I'm
On
not
the
getting
palate.
much. Yeah.
I get this on the upper palate, not
This
on
is the
on
weakest
lower.
nose I've had for what, not
It
to
is
drink it
hot.
for the nose, but
It's
And it
pretty
lingers
hot.
there for a
It
few
does.
minutes.
Doesn't have a long, finish. It just has a hot finish.
So this burns on the
It's more hot on
Yeah.
the palate than it is
It
any
is.
kind of finish.
Yeah.
which is kind of surprising.
It's like a 6-year-old barrel proof instead of a 12-year. That makes sense.
It might be one of the reasons I like using this to knock the proof up.
You get that taste of,
I don't like it
of
either.
proof,
Nope.
but
It's just I just get ethanol burned.
I'm getting burned. God, there's something there. It's not
But there's some
citrus.
oak,
It's not citrus. It's not cherry. It's not caramel on the mouth. I mean, it's definitely vanilla on the
I mean, they all have.
nose.
For me, they all have one. I mean, they have oakiness because of the age and all that. But I'm trying to pick out the differences from the similarities.
Well, I'm going to say just doing the first two C series, the 917, I like not even close compared to the 918. I didn't like it at all.
Yeah.
So
The 917
This is gonna be-
is great.
yes,
By far.
Tobacco and wood, I think. Yeah.
And
And
a lot of burn.
I don't get a lot of burn on the finish. I get
No,
burn on the
palate.
mouth,
Yes.
which is where I don't want it.
But this is the first time I get burn on the upper palate, not just
Yeah,
on
right,
the.
right.
yeah, it's the
And that
size
kind
of my tongue.
yeah, and that kind of puts me off, yeah,
Yeah.
a little bit.
to me it was just
Side-
everywhere. It was just
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
this is what 6 pour, so you would think that your palate would be kind of
Including the pre-pours. Yeah.
yes,
like
it would be what's the word?
Your taste buds get fatigued,
Correct. Yes.
but it's the anesthetic or anesthetic properties of the alcohol. They're actually numbing your taste.
Correct. So I would expect not to taste it that
I think you'd be a little number
spice-
to the heat.
Well, exactly. So, but I do. I mean, it's
Yeah.
for me, it's a kick in the mouth.
That wasn't pleasant at all. I just didn't enjoy that one.
No.
Yeah, it just has a little sweetness on the palate.
Yeah.
But it's mostly just
Which one is this?
burn.
918.
So now we got
Scrap.
919.
All right, I got an
And I have
open
a- I have a
919.
bottle of that at home. I need to
Which one?
Trade.
918
It's a good
think
mixer. It's a good mixer.
to get the proof up. Yes, I'll give it to you for the poor man's whatever.
No, that's what I do. I use it for a mixer, and it works well to knock the proof up. But it didn't. Interestingly, as much as we didn't like it, it doesn't overpower the Weller 12 and the 107 on the Poor Man's Preacher. This is still one. I brought this to your birthday party. That's the first time I brought it out.
Yeah.
Was to your birthday party at Da
Vinci.
Vinci's. That was the first time, and it was a hit that night. I thought.
It was a big hit.
And that was a full bottle. Then it's now I had to refill it since then.
Is that right?
Yeah, we finished that one and the Poor Man's Birthday pretty hardcore that night.
For me,
Yes.
your birthday bourbon, the 1910 Old Forester 1910 and 1920 mix is amazing.
It's
Well, I'm going to go out on a limb and say maybe I'm wrong, but you probably haven't tried his George T. Weller.
that's
I haven't.
That's George T. Stagg with the Weller Reserve.
Yeah.
That out of all the ones he's made,
Well, it's got
you
to
can
be
make
good.
that face, Edmund. He
It's-
made a face.
it's-
It's my favorite. It is.
The reason why
Phenomenal.
I absolutely do not like the Weller Special Reserve. For me, it's one of the worst.
No.
But it's
No, no,
not.
no.
It's not even a. It's not pronounced in here. It's just very. You don't even know
It
it's there.
chills it out.
Yeah.
It chills out because
Especially
this
if you do it with one of the older stags, where it's just.
and this
hot.
was from 2017. So the 2017 was what in the 130s.
129.
129?
Yeah, 129.4.
It
What
chills
is the
it out.
mix? What's the
It
percentage?
was a 50-50 mix on Weller 12. Sorry, Weller Special Reserve and George T. Stagg. I think it was 2017. And it chilled it out. It was freaking good.
I'd be curious to see what you think if you try it and you try.
I'll have to
Have you
pour
tried
some.
any of his little bourbon?
concoctions.
No.
Yeah, I should have brought some over. Oh, I
That
did.
is
Well, I got this
interesting,
one.
Yeah, we'll try that one after.
I mean, I love the George T. Stagg or the Stagg Junior. It's fantastic. So.
All of them? Because the first couple of...
Well, not
I
all,
got
I
it
mean,
right
they're
when
all
George T...
different.
Was it 2016 when they first started coming out with them?
With what?
The George T... the Stagg,
Stagg
Junior?
Junior.
Oh, I don't
I
know. You
can't
guys would
remember.
know that before me.
Yeah, because the Stagg
I would have
Junior...
assumed they've been around longer than
That
that.
sounds right.
Because when they came out with them, I was like, God, this
No,
is
it's
just
before.
octane.
This is the 13th batch, so it's
yeah, but they didn't come out 13 years, though.
Yeah.
It was multiple iterations.
Yeah, 2 to 3 a year.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And the first few I just thought were just rocket fuel on the Stagg Junior. In fact, I used that. That was the first one I used to Franken bourbon to knock up proof was the Stagg Junior, and even that could overwhelm some stuff. Although the Stagg Junior with some Weller, actually again Weller Green Label would chill it out. Weller Green Label is a good mixer to kind of tone down
It's a good mixer.
some of the
absolutely.
ones that you're like, it's a little too hot, Like one of the ones you've had today, you're like, yeah, it's a little hot. A splash of Weller Green Label, you're like, oh, damn, this is good. Plus, I'm a big weeded. I'm a sucker for the weeded.
Yeah, same here. That's why I like the 12.
I'm a weeded guy too.
I'm curious what you think of the nose of this.
This one, yeah.
See, I like it. Do you not?
So it is the second least interesting nose so far, or overwhelming, should I say? It's there. It's mild. Is that a?
But thinking of the profiles that Brian and myself sort of align with, and then what you two seem to align
It reminds me of the 519, to be honest. The B519,
Really?
yes. It's
mild.
what do you call it? Less interesting.
It's less. Yeah.
I get a ton of cherry,
Yeah.
and that's why I
get a little cherry, and I'm getting a little citrusy, but not like I'm taking a lemon, but like lemongrass. I'm getting all right now. A few puffs
Some
later, or a
baking
few sniffs
spices.
later, I'm starting to get it.
But vanilla and spices.
Baking spices.
Now,
lot
now
of
I'm vanilla
cherry.
and cherry. That's wild.
This one's right on the tip of my tongue hot.
Yeah, it reminds me of the 519, which is not, it's
I don't like
it's a finish that just drops off completely. It cuts off.
Yeah, I'm going to say on the 9 series, it's a no-brainer for me.
Yeah, the first one.
Mm-hmm. 917.
I like this. On the palate, I like this. I didn't like it as much on the nose.
And people rave about this batch.
I like this.
Yeah, you
They
know,
say that's
you're right. I've heard
Yeah,
that.
people-
This
Well,
was
Very
obviously, I like it. This is my bottle. And
It
it's,
might be
over
because
half
of the
time.
proof, because, as we've discussed, people chase high proof. They think everything high proof is good. It's not
No,
necessarily.
not necessarily.
Yeah.
And again, I'll tell you that this year's George T, lowest proof of the George T's, it's phenomenal. It really is.
Yeah,
It's phenomenal.
I believe so. I haven't had that.
I
So.
haven't had it either.
All right, I have it. We'll have to do a George T night.
Well, if Brian could share with us,
You
will delight.
you know I will share. Don't even go there. You know I'll pop stuff open.
Just kidding.
George, absolutely. Whether it's George or whatever.
So this
Rob was
one-
at my house. He had to stop me from opening crap up.
He opens
First
everything.
This one reminds me of the last one we had, though, where, like mid palate along the edge of your tongue, it's tingly.
Just hot,
Yeah.
And this one I got more on the front of my tongue. I don't know.
This
Maybe
is
the
not
way I
as
had it in my
hot.
palate, but
It's not as hot as the last one though. For me,
not as
Yeah.
hot for me. It's more centralized as far as where I'm getting it. Where the other one was just my whole mouth was just.
But this one's more interesting to me versus the other
Yeah.
one was just more.
I like this
ethanol.
one better than the 918,
Right.
Yes.
would
but I
agree
don't
with
like either one of them.
Correct. The 918 for me is
Awful.
It's 519 was uninteresting, but the 918 was not good.
And I would drink 519 over these
918,
two. Probably.
absolutely,
Yeah.
because you can sip it all day.
You can still sip it.
I like this.
It's just.
You like this? This is great. This is
For
good.
the C's, this is my favorite.
All right. So,
Is it really?
So for your future reference, you two link up pretty good on taste profiles.
The
It looks like
917,
Glenn and
the
I.
C917 for me was.
I'm with you.
Oh, the 9-1. Yeah.
I hope I have a C917.
I don't. So
Dude,
I'm screwed.
the only 1.7 I had was the B.
I can't remember what I brought.
Any of the ones I've liked so far? No, I take that back. I think I have a B518. That would be the only one I have. All right, Glenn and Brian, you're both 919?
I think, yeah.
Yeah, out of the C's, that's mine.
917 for me for sure.
All right, I'm going to have to go back for the 917 just to compare because
Yeah, I'll do the same.
the 919 I like.
And to
I
me,
did
it's-
not-
It's not even close for me.
You're the 917?
917 all day long.
Yeah. That's probably mine too, but I don't dislike this. I kind of like the nose. I'm kind of disappointed on the palate. I like this.
So it's out of all, it's not my favorite. But
No,
out of
I
the
agree with you.
C's, Out of the C's,
C's,
this
yeah.
is my favorite. But I would like to try the 17 again, just to go
Right, yeah, let's do it.
side by side.
I'm going to want to try the 3 that I like and see which one out of those 3 I like.
Okay, over here.
And just so
Yeah.
you guys know, we're dumping a lot. We're not sitting here. I mean, you can probably tell that we're still coherent and can talk.
Somewhat.
That
Oh,
we're not
sure.
just chugging bourbon, but taking a few sips and just
You know what? I want.
dumping.
Here's what I want. Do you have another Glencairn? A little
I do,
small.
Sure do.
I'm
Another
going
small.
to literally do them side by side.
So this might be subconscious,
use-
but the 2 that I brought
Oh, yeah.
are my favorites.
Well, of course they are. Right now.
What do you want, Edmund? This is yours.
I was just saying he hasn't drank out of that
Oh.
one. He's just been using it to pour into.
Yeah, I haven't.
Oh, okay. What do you want in this?
But Rob has another
I'm good.
wee one.
No, you're good. Okay.
I'm
Thank
still
you, sir.
deciding.
Thank you.
Now, figure out what you want. I still think I already have stated my favorite so far, but I'm going to go back between the C's here.
I'm going to go. I want to try the A118 again, and I'm going 518 and 917 because I want to see which one I like out of the three.
I'm with you on that one.
Hold
I'm gonna
That's
I'm
the
gonna
917.
shortlist. You know,
A118?
917 and a 118.
That's
Which
the
both-
A18.
Which I think both were our favorites. I want to pick a favorite before. Yeah,
And
between
then go
those
against
two.
518.
Yes.
Yep. Okay. I'm with you, Edmund.
Let me grab this puppy.
The nose.
The 9 is better.
This is the A118.
Yeah, on the versus the 7.
Mhm.
The nose is better on the C917 to me. The nose.
Trade.
Well, we also
be your
just
next
poured
pour.
this.
Yeah, sure.
So you say the 917 for you trumps the. Not.
Not as of yet. I'm just nosing it.
Okay.
I'm gonna drink a little water between them, but I'm thinking the 919.
That's another thing we haven't done here. When you drink, neat bourbon, and you add a drop of water, it absolutely changes the profile. For me, at least.
919.
One of my Scots
Nose
friends,
on the 917. Palate on the 919. Go ahead. Sorry, Evan.
One of my Scots friends, they describe it that your bourbon's sitting in this barrel and it kind of just is restricted and constricted. Once you add the water, it just opens up. It releases flavors that you wouldn't necessarily find in the
What it does when you add water, it fractures all the alcohol and the oils.
Mhm.
So the oils are hydrophobic, right? And same thing with alcohol. It wants to separate out. And so you're breaking all these compounds in there. And so that's why when you pour it in, you see it sort of like tumble and like become
Oil and vinegar.
like cloudy, and
Yeah.
it's trying to get back to equilibrium. And so that's why sometimes when you add water and you don't wait, it can get harsher or it can go the other way.
Right.
So I've had some where I've, a couple drops of water, taste it, and whoa, it's way hotter, way
Right.
more bitey.
Absolutely makes it
spiky.
hotter initially.
And then, but if you wait,
What's the wait
another
time? Wait, what? Minute or two?
10 minutes or so,
Oh, 10 minutes. That long.
something like that. And that's just sort of what I do. I just do that, go do something else, come back and try it again. And then it's different. Sometimes better, sometimes not. But,
Right.
it's all bourbon. It's all, to that's whatever that you just poured. Some react well, some don't. And then it's also your palate is subjective.
You
So
have
it's
a new
whatever you like.
nickname, the smart bourbon guy.
The scientist.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, truly
We have
scientific.
Franken bourbon and
Yeah,
we
you guys
have.
got the
I'm
same
the
palate.
guy who loses his medical license and is doing experiments in his basement, and he's the one that's doing it in the lab.
The chemist versus the doctor.
You guys must get together. Actually, he can explain to you what he does, what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll just be doing it, and he'll be going, okay, now.
No,
what
don't
he's
do that.
doing
Do
here-
this.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Brian just screwed that up. And
Yes, he did. Okay, Brian's getting ready to blow up the house.
That's
Yeah.
No cigars for you.
919 for me.
Yeah.
So you have the. Which one do you have there?
This is A118 for me. You have a
I
C919.
do.
So we're kind of reversed
What
on.
were we? So
We're A119.
1.8. We're A119. Yeah.
Is the one that you all like, so you need to if
Yeah.
you try
More
to
so than, and we did like. I like to be 517.
Right. So unanimously, we all liked the B.
518.
518.
Do you think the people listening are like, what the, this is almost hurting my head with all this?
All the numbers.
Yeah.
It's hurting our heads too.
Yeah.
All right. So
And
we're
we're drinking.
what are we doing,
So
Glenn?
I think we.
You got to go
side by
A119
side.
first
Yeah. So
versus.
119 and then
Well, let me ask you this: in your mind, what do you think was your favorite out of the A119, the B518, and the C919?
So what I want to try is the least favorites
That's
from
what I'm saying.
second place.
So pick those two out.
And
Which,
then I think the B unanimously for all of us.
that's my
is the
favorite so
best.
far. Okay,
Which one?
We're doing the same thing.
Which B?
118.
So you guys need 119 and you need 919 to compare.
Do I have yours? Can I get your? Yeah, we get yours.
I need some water.
Yeah, watch it out. So this is my A119 on the right or left. Sorry. This will be your A119.
I think we tried with the 911.
I can't wait to hear this back and hear all these numbers just flying around. Here's your B1519.
I wonder if we sound more
118.
slurred.
Here's 119 for you.
And the other
Here's
one?
C917.
Well, for us,
B518?
C.
No, you're not going to do that one yet. That's your favorite.
We'll do the B at the
919.
end. So we'll side by side A and C.
You need a 919 should be on the right front.
So C919.
Yeah. We'll side by side those
Okay.
two for our
Okay.
second place,
Oh, this is.
and then we'll.
Is there an open one? Because this is.
No, that's not it.
What's that one?
This is 919, but it's.
It's 917.
But we were doing 919, right?
Yeah, you have one open. Should be
I
right
thought
there
we
in the
did.
front right. One of those.
I got 918, B,
What's
and an
What's
A.
this one, Bert?
That's not it.
That's an A. C918?
919. It's there.
You know what this sounds like? It's like you guys are betting on horses. Just
Or it's a horse race.
yeah.
Damn it.
Which one are you looking for?
919.
I hear. No, 918.
What's that
919? C919?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right in front of you the whole time?
Shut
I
up.
mean, people can't see, but I'm going to point it out.
Shut up.
All right, the bourbon is starting to take effect.
It has like tobacco-y, oaky, leather notes in the A.
For me, it's a no-brainer.
Damn.
I like the 917.
It's hard.
bourbon. Are you with me?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Spot on.
Yeah, that's just not even.
All right, folks. The price for the 917 is just tripled.
Yeah, no kidding.
If you can find it.
So I'm going to go 917 versus 518 for my, see which one I like the best. That's the same as you.
Yeah, so we all are going to do B.
We're all doing B518.
518.
I think the A119. Barely. Barely.
It's just slightly.
It's so freaking close.
So what is it for you guys? 518, and you both are unanimous on the A119?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Interesting.
close. Damn, it's close.
So did you cross out the, we're just going to keep track, or circle the 917?
Yep, for me and you.
Yes.
That's our
And
second
now we
place.
have to compare to
the
the
518.
51?
518. Uh-huh.
Okay. To see
And
which,
these two guys are both doing the A119 versus the 518 to see. I will be blown away if we all agree that 518 is the best. That
That would be pretty cool,
With it as
actually.
different as our palate seems
This
to
is
be.
all right. This is A.
Oh, that's A. I thought you
sorry.
were 518.
You know, I'm gonna be.
No, I have. That's this one. Burn.
What?
I'm going to say
That's
I'm going to
not-
go back to another
Oh, you still have it?
917 pour.
It's
are we
Since
talking-
I
Wash it
already
out.
have it on my palate.
Yeah.
This is the
917,
A119.
And then go to the 518 at the end.
Yes.
Okay, here's the 917.
I just added 917.
All right.
No, I added
A119.
You had a 118.
118.
So here's your 917.
All right. This is getting so confusing.
Yep.
Goodness. Too many numbers, too many bottles.
I'm telling you, too late in the day.
All
Too
right.
many pours.
What was our comparator?
B.
518.
That's our sort of number one that we're A and Bing.
Here we are. Who's 518?
Everybody.
No. Who is that? Me?
Who brought it?
I
Who brought?
I brought
you
that.
brought it. Okay. Ah, that's why it's the best. You hear it opening?
One of the reasons.
That's one that's been open for a while, right?
I just got
518.
We're doing. We'll do that
in
next.
the-
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, but it's been open for a while. I mean, as in the bottle.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that counts
Alright.
for.
We can
but
see where
as
the
well-
level is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So the oxidation really, for me, it adds a level of complexity or matureness to a
Are you
new.
trying the B?
Yes. This is going to be my final comparison between a 917 and a 518.
I took one more pour of the 917 just to eat
Yeah,
some and get it
it's-
back on my palate.
It's so for me. It's so distinctive that I have a reference point. At least I'm trying to.
I might be doing it because I really like it. And the 917 is my bottle, I believe.
A. That A is so amazing.
Pretty sure I brought that.
Oh my god. The A is giving me more tobacco this time.
I'm waiting for somebody to say no, it's mine because I don't have a 917. But I'm calling dibs on it.
I brought 4 barrel proofs, the Dandy Pick, and the Elijah 23.
I
And then
brought the
obviously-
917 and the 118. The ones that we
So
like.
I'm up for trading. If you guys like the 119 or the 919 for whoever brought that
Sure.
Yeah. I
917.
brought the 518.
I brought the 917.
I
Both
got
of them? Isn't there two?
Are there two?
Well, the one in front of you, and then you said you have one not open? Or no?
I have. No, there's only one.
Oh, that's yours?
Yes.
I'm screwed.
We can share it.
I think I brought the 919. Yes or no? Open 919, right?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah.
Maybe we should keep
All
that for
around-
after the.
All of yours
Yeah.
were
It says
unopened.
closed.
That were over there.
My A119 was barely open, but
Oh, okay.
but the B519, which is a grill starter, pour it on your grill, light it, get the fire going, and then the C919.
Fortunately, I took pictures. Otherwise, I wasn't going to remember which ones I brought.
Hey, Brian.
All right. What was this?
Top of
Man, I really like that.
All right. So I just had the A again. I really
518?
like it. Which is this
I did
518?
917 again.
The second one, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let me go back to the 518.
I'm gonna do 518 right now.
Because God, that A11.
I just love we're throwing out all these numbers.
I'm just glad we've one, are recording it, and two, you're writing it down.
This is the only advantage Booker's has. Is we can say, okay, this is Kentucky Chew. This
Yep.
is
Yeah,
Yes.
you know, and I like that.
It's-
Maybe that's
It's completely distinct. Everyone is so
Yeah.
different that it's it's not it's
that may be a show too. Just
yeah.
Right.
You know, I like Booker's.
We love Booker's.
We had the Booker's
I think everybody here does.
bottle share at BBK
I've just gotten into
a
it.
month or so.
To be honest,
That
with
is one we got to figure out the glasses on. Again, low proof should be whatever you want to, Weller, Elmer,
and-
and the high proof can be Booker's, and we can go through the
you.
glasses.
And I don't want to do that on a podcast. I want to do that on a YouTube,
That's
so
fine.
that people can see what we're.
Yeah,
what the glass
that's
is.
great.
Yeah, you should because
Yeah.
otherwise, you've
We
got
can talk about what we're
Edmund
using.
will
They're
wear
like,
a
what
mask.
the hell does that mean?
They got to visualize it.
Yeah.
Edmund will
So
wear
we'll
a
do
mask.
that on a YouTube show.
a
without-
face made,
without
a
Ed.
face made for
Well, no, you
radio.
can do it. We're just going to put a brown bag over you with like
Yeah.
the Saints fans.
Thank you.
Is that all right?
The Saints. I thought it was
And
the
we'll give you a
Browns.
straw. You don't remember the Saints back in the day?
Nice.
They would all wear
Yes,
brown
paper bags.
to the game.
Holes cutter for their
Yeah.
eyes.
And they say, "Who dat?"
This the 917. That's it.
Yeah, I think that's going to be mine. But I'm
Really?
gonna taste it.
917.
Yep. 518 doesn't stand a chance.
So I don't remember this when I first opened it, but it's that Heaven Hill nuttiness that,
No, I like it.
that attracts me to.
I'm going to
this
tell you,
one.
it's closer than I thought it would be. I thought the 917 would run away with it for me, but
You know why the 917? Because it's different. I mean, you're talking about Heaven Hill nuttiness. It's not that I don't like it, but the 917 is different. I can get Heaven Hill nuttiness any time of the day because, you can pick it from
Yeah.
all the small batches. The 917 for me
This is
is
tough.
completely different. I just like it. So it's
This is
unique.
really tough. All right, one more swig of water here.
yeah, I'm gonna agree with you, Edmund. I think the 917 is my favorite. I like the 518 a lot.
Absolutely. It's
I
not
mean,
bad.
it's close
Yeah.
second, but
So that's definitely the 518 is. Although, for me, it's the 917, 118, and then the 518.
for me, it's the 917, 518, and then the 118.
Hey, we cannot agree every time
Yeah,
on the same
yeah.
thing, so close enough.
God, this is hard. These are close. These are damn close.
And I'm looking at what your shirt said.
That's what
That's what she said.
That's what she said. Damn. A119 and B518 are what Glenn and I are torturing ourselves over right now.
I think B has it for me
God.
with A second.
Ah,
They're, I would say,
it's so hard.
5%.
Yeah.
Like they're within
Really?
that close to each other. I would almost do just a tie. Like this is a tie between the two. They're
I'm
so
I'm
different,
close to a tie. I'm going to do A one more time here.
But I just, like I said, I like.
Here-
I'm a fan of the Heaven Hill profile,
Nuttiness.
and that has it. None of the other ones have that for me.
Which one is that?
518.
B518.
It does. That's why I took the 917 over the 518 because, again, nuttiness I can get from any
Heaven Hill.
Heaven Hill.
But not that nuttiness. That's a.
But
barrel
what's,
proof.
what's what's unusual to me is that we all like this so much, but on the other ones we're so different. And what,
Correct.
Yeah,
Damn.
kind of weird.
It's a flip of a coin. I'm really tied between these two. If I had to give an edge right now, it'd be the A119.
For me, the nose on the A is better.
You're right now, right.
The
And
palate-
again, I've talked about my nose bias.
All right,
God, the A?
just for giggles now, I want to pour the Elijah Craig 18 just to see
Oh,
if
yeah.
that's different too.
18?
Yeah.
23. Do you have the 18?
He has it.
Oh,
Wonder where I got that.
I want it too.
You want a little?
I would love some. I haven't tasted I've given so many well, not given, but
Traded.
arranged so many bottles that I haven't actually secured one for myself. Well, I still have a
You haven't.
2017 one, so which is the old label.
So
Well, that's a nice
A119,
one. I like that one.
buy it just a hair. And just so that Glenda and I don't look like twins here, I'm going to have to go with the A119.
Hey.
But damn, that 518 is so close. Oh,
This is just the best.
See, I like this so much. This
I
Elijah
haven't had
Craig
this
18. You haven't had this one?
No.
It's
Oh, dude.
incredible.
it's
I
in my
just had
top
the
3
23.
bourbons ever.
I've never had the 23.
Yeah.
I'll try it next after I.
You're going to like the 18 more.
You think so?
Yeah, it's an oak bomb. The 23 is an oak bomb.
Yep.
Hey, Brian,
It really
can you have
is.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. 518.
All the angels are.
Thank you, sir.
The rest of the angels are going to
that?
escape.
Yeah, those bastards.
Man, I like this one. I'd never
Is
had
that the
it.
18?
Tell you, I take that back. I had it. Chris Jackson gave me a pour one time we went to dinner, and he had a little left, and
We had it at my house on the first meeting of KVM.
when
we
the
got
other
together.
doctor was there,
No, when you and
Cameron?
I and Cam.
and the guy who was training in there.
Oh, yeah, him.
Yeah.
We all went. I was opening up everything, and
did
you're
we
like,
have that?
stop. Yes. It was one of the bottles out, and you're like, stop. Because I was just opening up
You were
everything.
opening everything.
I
I'm
know.
like, dude,
I was,
don't
I
open
was,
that.
I was full retard mode. It was.
This is fantastic. I mean, even after all the high proof stuff, I just absolutely love that the 18.
No, it's just got so much more of a
It's,
profile.
You know, it's got so much flavor to it.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
All right, save a little bit of room for that
what is that proof? of?
Franken.
The 18.
90 something?
90.
Yep,
90.
45%. Yep, 90.
90.
So it's same
On
as
the
the
dot.
23.
Same as a
On the dot.
23, but I mean, that kills your palate with the oakness.
Okay.
And
I'm gonna try that and see what I
for
think.
me,
Now
at
the
least.
18s is so much more of a
Oh, it's
mouthful.
great.
These are chill filtered,
Are they?
right? I don't see anything about non-chill filtered on
Oh,
it.
let me see.
I don't
Probably is.
remember.
Yeah.
At 90 proof, I bet you're right.
Yeah.
Oh, it has to, because otherwise you're going to,
well,
see
no, it's over. Well, yeah, it's because it's 46 and above.
It's
the. Yeah,
45.
so this is
Become-
45.
No, I know. What I'm saying is where it becomes cloudy is 46 and above.
So it may not be chill filtered.
Oh, it's 45, so it's under that. So it would be cloudy if you added water. Or,
Oh, okay. Anything
rocks.
under 46
Under.
is going to be.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay,
that's
gotcha.
why they chill filter the
Okay.
lower proof stuff, yeah.
That's the only thing.
I
That,
don't even want to drink it. I just keep nosing it.
It is incredible, isn't it? I mean, it's...
Vanilla?
Mm.
Just a teeniest bit of lemon?
Which one are you
Citrus?
talking about?
That's 18.
18. And I mean, I don't get as much oakiness and leather and tobacco that I got from some of these ones.
I agree with you.
This is matured. For me, this is a matured flavor profile where, this is, it's non-chill filtered, it's younger, it's like it's more profound than leather and oak. This is more all blended.
I think
This is a great
matured is
whiskey.
a great way to describe
Yeah.
it.
So
This is really
when
great.
I was talking about rounded, what I think of as you put a rock in a stream, right? If it's young in there, it still has all that jagged edges, right? Over time, it becomes smooth and
The
rounded.
water kind of.
The water takes off all those. So I think of age as of doing that to a bourbon, and so that's where I think the 18. It still has some of these notes, but it's rounded. There's no spiky notes. It's not predominantly one way or the other. You still get some of
But
those.
this
right?
is also credit to the master distiller, right? Because it's coming out and they're proofing it down
Yes.
to this to get where they want
Correct.
it to be. So I give a lot of credit to
Yeah.
that guy.
Yeah.
I wonder what the 18 would taste like if it's barrel proof.
Well, Are we ever going to know that? Aren't they also watering it down so they can get more out of it?
That's
Well,
also
so-
part of it.
let's
So-
be
But they're not ruining the juice by
No,
doing that.
it's
I mean, it
still
is.
my favorite damn
So
bourbon on the
my
planet.
question is, what would the 18 be like if it's
Yeah.
like a
What
barrel?
barrel
proof,
proof-
what proof
yeah.
would you
but
think
what
it
would
is?
I? So
Oh, the
145?
I don't know.
135 to
Well, it's got to be high.
145, I
Absolutely
think.
high.
Yeah.
It's got to be hazmat.
no,
Yes.
it depends on where it is in the warehouse.
And then Rick House.
If it is at the bottom,
It might be.
so all right, the top
Might have
the,
lower-
the very top of the warehouse, you evaporate more water than you do alcohol.
because there's sun coming in from the.
It's just that's the hottest part of the warehouse. The very bottom is the coldest, so you evaporate more ethanol than you do water, right? So think about that. You know, the very top, you know, it's more water than ethanol. You're getting higher proofs. At the bottom, you're actually dropping proof.
So, are you saying that
Because-
they probably put what they know is going to be an 18-year always at the bottom?
I think this is part of the blending process that we don't
Yeah,
we
you
don't,
don't
know the recipe
You don't
per say per label. You know,
Because it's a
gonna
single
be
barrel.
different
This isn't a small batch. This is a single barrel.
for the 18 and 23.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then they have a cherry spot
They have
in
to.
the warehouse that they feel that is the perfect spot
To get
for
what they want.
18 or for the 23.
and to maximize the yield. Remember, this is a company that makes money off of selling bourbon, so they don't want to sit with 10% yield
the
Yeah.
curious bit
on the
for
barrel.
me,
They want as much as possible. So
But it's still good, is my point. It's not
so
like
they
you're-
want the highest proof. So they the higher the proof of the exit barrel, the more they can get out of the barrel because they proof it down to 90. So if they sit with a 146 proof barrel, they have to add a bunch of water to get it down to the 90, and that
making sure
increases
they
the
don't
yield.
compromise the flavor and the structure of the bourbon.
but my-
Because it's got to be where maybe you
But
think
taters
they
are
come
still
here.
going to buy it.
well,
So,
of course.
Excuse me.
but taters are still going to buy it. So,
But the curious bit is that they're both at 90 proof. That's the thing that, okay, so if it was 47 or 48, some odd number in there, okay, then then I think that maybe they're blending it, they're proofing it to where they feel it's the best flavor profile. If they're just doing, okay, straight to 45, I don't know that they're doing that.
The only
is
way
my-
we would know that is, does somebody else have a different year of the 18? Is it always 90 or does it change?
It's always
I think
90.
it's always
It's
90.
always
It's always
90. But it's
90.
different. It's very different.
but
Yeah.
how much dilution does it take to get down there is another story.
Well, it depends on what the exit barrel proof is.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So,
But to your point, if you're putting it in the same place in the Rick House every time,
I'm
you
just
should
thinking-
hit that similar proof.
relative,
You should.
Every time.
But I'm just thinking,
similar,
say, Wild Turkey Rare Breed, right? It's at 116.7 or something.
always
you know,
the same.
It is,
Yeah.
but what I'm saying is that it's a really exact number versus just, okay, we're just doing 45. There's the master distiller has that option of, okay, do we do it? So I would say, the 23 would be different than the 18 as far as where maybe the proof should fall. Maybe you get a different profile from a little higher or lower proof with
But to
with
your
the different
point,
ages,
in the Rick House, if that master distiller says, "Hey, look, 90 on this is really what I like
Yeah.
every
And
time
that, I could be
at this spot."
completely off.
And that's-
off
I mean, it's a
base,
good
and that might be
theory.
it.
Yeah,
I think I know where you're going. I mean, that one might not even proof this down. I mean, it's proof down, but it might come out as 100. So, if you proof it from 100 to 40 all the way down to 90, you really dilute all the flavors and all
This
that.
is
Yes.
So-
likely the very bottom floor. of
correct,
the Rick
which
House.
is low proof stuff.
It's the stuff
right?
that it's the coldest and it's what ages the slowest.
so it's going to have high alcohol.
No,
No,
it's gonna have high
low,
water.
low
Lowest
alcohol.
alcohol.
Yeah, you're
Correct.
right. You're right.
So it's going to
'Cause
be
the
around,
water's not gonna
around
evaporate.
100,
Right.
110 proof instead of the stuff that's at the top, which this is at 136 or whatever. If I follow your
right. So these are
Your
single
math.
barrels. Those I think they.
Small batch.
Sorry, when,
Just
I'm saying the
pull a bunch
the
of barrels
barrel-proof
together.
small batch is likely pulled from multiple levels
Yeah.
Right.
in the warehouse to give a flavor profile, whereas a single barrel that's just where
That's
it is.
a barrel.
Okay, that's good. The 23 is good, but yeah, you're
18's
right.
better.
Yeah,
It's
way better.
over. It's,
For me,
it's,
way
it's
better.
not over oak, but it's too oaky. The
Yeah.
20,
Right.
the 18 for
Exactly.
me is amazing. So
Yeah.
It's just a poor man's
Poor
preacher.
man's preacher. 40% Weller 107, 40% Weller 12, 20% Elijah Craig C918.
I still have to wait 10 days before I can open
And
mine,
I opened
right?
that a little early.
As per the doctor's prescription.
I opened this one a little bit early for our podcast.
No, good things.
No?
Oh,
I had
think
some
Rob
earlier
Did
ones.
you? Okay.
I'm still sitting with an 18 year, which is fantastic.
But honestly, between the 18 and the barrel proof, I would have the barrel proof.
Really?
Over the 18 in a barrel proof?
Really?
Oh man, it's not even close for me. I'll take that 18 all day long.
Well, let me know when you
I
want
wish
an
the
18.
prices
I'll
were-
swap you.
Complexity.
I know, I got you.
Yeah.
Like I was saying, it's super
Oh,
rounded.
the A119,
Very
B518,
good.
no, God. Yeah, the complexity is there. The
I wish-
18,
I wish the price would be the same.
Okay.
Between, you can get the 18 for $50 odd dollars.
Yeah, that'd be nice. And more of it.
18 is great. That's not your second bottle, right? That's still the first.
of the 18, yeah,
18,
yeah. No, no, that's his 18.
Oh,
It's
it's
my
your
23.
okay.
It's my first 23. It's his 18.
That might go down pretty quickly.
Well, this has been fun, guys. Been confusing for our listeners talking about
Sure.
all the different numbers for.
You need to post what the actual thing at the end. We
Yeah,
can go
we'll
like
put it on
edit
the-
it
Yeah,
and go back. These are the rankings
I'll give
for
you.
Glenn,
I'll put a
Edmund,
little, yeah.
Rob, Brian.
And just a quick recap: these are the Elijah Craig barrel proofs. They come out 3 times a year. You get an A, B, and C batch. The A is always a 118, 117, 119. 1 being the month, the last 2 digits being the year. So this year will be a A120. And then you have the B, which usually comes out in May. So it'll be a 520 this year.
Might
And
pick it
then-
up in July, though.
Released.
When it
Good.
when it
I'd say
released.
Released.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Out of the barrel.
That's why the
in May.
number's on there. It's released in May. Doesn't hit here until
Right.
July. And the last one is always a 9, so it'll be 920 for a September release. And we don't see that till almost November, right?
I would, yeah. I would
Into
agree.
October, November, somewhere
Yep.
in there.
Down here in Texas, where
Down
we're
here in
at.
Texas.
So, but a fun show, man. It's one
Yeah,
I've been
it's
wanting to
been
do just to kind of see what the difference were. And it's I would say this as a overall, the Elijah Craig small batch barrel proofs I think are overall pretty good. I like the complexity. I like the flavors. There's just, I would say once in a while, out of what did we taste? 9 today or 8? 8
8.
today.
Yeah.
We're missing one.
Yeah.
There was really one that I would say is a complete dud. The rest were
Yeah.
all pretty good. So-
All worth picking up. They're-
Yeah.
At retail.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
At retail.
So-
Yeah.
at retail.
And even, it doesn't really skyrocket when it goes, anything beyond retail. I mean, you can still find it readily available
Maybe
online.
10
$10, yeah,
more,
so-
usually. So it's
And
not
for
bad.
12-year age-stated, non-chill filtered, barrel-proof, it's really probably one of the best values of money. That
Yeah.
with rare breed, Kentucky rare breed, it's really a good buy.
That's one I've got to get a bottle of. The rare breed. I've never had that. But I've heard that from a lot of people.
Yeah.
You drink it.
Yeah. Glenn's trying to shut us up so it doesn't disappear from the market
Oh,
because it is fantastic.
okay. I'll show
Well, one of our names is not Fred, so I think we're good.
There you
yes. Yes.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining today. Great episode. And appreciate everybody joining on this episode of Food, Wine, and Whiskey in Your Own Backyard. And until our next episode, cheers, guys.
Cheers.